Look, it was completely expected. Like the second he shot that, honestly, I knew it was going in. I knew it was going in. I've seen too much of Jokic not to know that, like, him just taking that catapult free would go in.
I blame fucking Steve Kerr. There's no fucking shot that Kuminga gets you 18 points and you don't play him for any of the fourth quarter. There's no shot. Like, that pisses me off.
Well, it looks like he's leaving, to be fair, as well. Did you
Yeah.
see the report earlier from Shams?
Yeah, he's not. I don't blame him. Like, if Kerr doesn't let you end the fucking games when you're doing good, then I would fucking leave too.
That's fair.
I
Well,
just can't believe
no
it.
mention about your GOAT, Curry. That turnover in the last second.
People make mistakes. People make mistakes.
So when it's anyone else, when it's Clay, it's this guy is fucking shite, mate.
No. I was the only one who defended Clay Thompson. I said sell Wiggins or trade Wiggins. I said keep Clay Thompson, keep Draymond. Even if Clay is shit, he'll bounce back, which he kind of did, but kind of not at the same time. But yeah, Wiggins is dog shit. Get rid of him. Chris Paul, I like him, but get rid of him too.
Milan Gazic, how you doing? Hope you're well. Look, I'll just say this: you just defended Draymond. How?
I love Draymond. I'll fucking defend that guy to the fucking ends of the earth. I love him. He did nothing wrong.
Only choked Rudy out.
No, that was deserved. He was self-defense. He was backing up.
That's not self-defense, bro.
Self-defense. And then the thing that got him suspended, like the hit on the head, that was bullshit. He didn't fucking see him. That was nothing.
Excuses.
The league just hates the Warriors. That's all I'll say.
Sure.
If it was anybody else, they would not get suspended like Draymond. That's all. That's what I'll say as well.
You literally have Ja being suspended for like months for doing nothing.
Yeah, that was bullshit too.
But look, we're not here to talk NBA. We really should, but we're not here to talk NBA. We're here to talk about football, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. Honestly, I just want to say this before we start. The reason I've not made a video or like hosted a discussion or anything of that sort, I'll be completely honest with you. It's because all of it would have been negative. All of it would have been negative. And my resolution for like the end of the year last year was I don't want to make videos that are just negative. But you know what? It's 2024. And you know what they say? New year, new positive me. So this video is just titled Eric Dier, but we're also going to talk about last season. We're going to start. I would say let's start with the Eric Dier news, just because it's a little bit topical and people are mentioning it right now in the chat. But it's topical, so let's address it. But also, let's then talk about the entire season so far, because we're at the midway point right now. I just what your thoughts are, and I'm going to try and be positive. So, I will not say that the team is a 1 out of 10. I'll say it's a 2 out of 10 because I'm positive this year. I'm happy. But what do you think about the Eric Dier news? Just your gut reactions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's a good player, to be honest. But I think like a lot of people are like freaking out too much because the reports say he's one of 3 options, and I think at the end of the day they got the agreement with him just in case like the main options fall through, which is understandable. But I can understand like why people are pissed off. Like, you were scouting for 4 months and you came up with fucking Dier in your top 3, which is crazy to me. But at the end of the day, I don't think we'll get him. I think that he's 1 of 3, and I think he's probably bottom of the 3. So I'm not too worried. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's not like the best player, but he's going to be 4th choice anyways if he does come in. So it's not the end of the world, even though I don't think he's good. But I don't know. I don't make too much of it, to be honest, at this point. It just is what it is. It's just rumors at the end of the day for now.
Yeah, for me, I'll be completely honest with you. I don't even care who we get. Like I straight up don't. Like, you could say, the reports could come out and say, oh, Bayern are after I don't know, Balotelli. I know that's not the right position, but like the news could come out banner after Balotelli, and I'd be like, okay, fine. And my reason for that is last year when we got Davy Blind, I thought that was a fantastic signing. I thought he was amazing. I thought that signing would be absolutely amazing for us. And then we didn't really play him. And now he goes to Girona, and he's looking like, the amazing David Blind that you saw in at Ajax. And they're currently second in La Liga, I want to say, or first in La Liga. I know they're first in Catalonia, but I think they're second in La Liga.
I think they're tied first.
Yeah, but the point is they're very much, very, very much on top. Yeah. And again, it just shows to me that it actually doesn't matter who we get in. Tuchel just needs to trust him. Because I feel like if last season, if we played Daley Blind, then he could have looked very good at Bayern. And that's sort of like, the way I'm looking at it. So that's why I don't really care who we get. I just want it to be a player that we're actually going to play. Now, I don't think it needs to be a world beater. I know everyone wants it to be a world beater, like, oh, we need to get someone that's going to be amazing here, amazing there, that you can trust for the Champions League final. But my thing is, we don't need that. We need a stopgap solution, because the African Cup of Nations and the Asian Cup of Nations, I think that's what it's called, at least the Asian Cup of Nations, I'm actually not sure. They don't last forever. Now, granted, South Korea is a favorite, if not the favorite. So they're likely to make it very far. Okay. But, Morocco, it's debatable how far they'll get. So the point is the players aren't going to be away for the entire Champions League campaign. So I don't think we need a world beater. We basically just need a stopgap. Now I think in midfield that's a different question, and everyone's going crazy about Paulinho. I'll say this: if this mofo wanted to come to Bayern as much as it's claimed to be, then he shouldn't have signed a contract. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. If you want to come to Bayern, right? Now you're crying, oh, I want to come to Bayern. I want to come to, it's my dream. I want to hold out and go to Bayern. Why did you sign the extension in the summer after the move fell through? You couldn't wait 5 months on a lower salary. I just think that's his fault. If Bayern say, no, we're not paying 60 million, I don't blame them. And usually I do blame them for everything. But in this case, I don't blame them. He played himself. He couldn't wait 5 months. You played yourself. And you only got yourself to blame. That's sort of my thoughts with the two main transfer targets basically that we're linked with. I mean, what are your thoughts on Paulinho?
Yeah, I think he's a good player, to be honest. I think he's a profile we could use. I think Pavlovic has been super, super good. I've been really impressed with him. But I also think that you do need someone with experience in the midfield, because I do think overall our midfield is pretty weak, especially in regards to the future. I think we only really have Pavlovic for now. So I think there was one chart that showed a cross-examination of Kimmich's stats, Paulinho's stats, and Musiala's stats, and it looked like they complemented each other really well just based on the chart. But we really won't know until if we sign him, I guess. But I would be happy with Paulinho coming. I think he's good. I still think we'll get him, to be honest. I think we'll cave in. I think Fulham will cave in a bit too. So I don't know. I want to see it happen. I'm 50-50 on it happening. 51-49 on it happening. But I do agree with what you said before in terms of the center back needs to be a stopgap solution, because the rumors of Araujo really pissed me off, because I'm we have 3 center backs who are going to play a lot, and it seemed like the lift was getting pushed out, which I don't agree with at all. So it doesn't make sense for me to have 4 really good center backs unless you're playing a 3 at the back. So yeah, I think as long as we get stopgaps in the defense, and then I'd say start building the midfield for the future, and maybe a little bit of the current with Paulinho.
Ooh, my laptop just completely crashed.
Oh, you're good. I thought the stream died. I was like, oh shit.
No, sorry, my laptop just
You're
struggled. Yeah, that's probably what happens when you have 200 tabs open.
good. I do the same thing.
But yeah, Shibbles number 7 asked a very interesting question. I mean, he asked two very interesting questions, but one is NBA related, and you know what? We're not going to talk NBA here, even though I'd love to. But he asked, is Bayern signing Dier more so for Kane or for depth because they're best friends in real life? I don't think it's ever a wise choice, and I don't think a club the size of Bayern would ever sign a player purely because someone is someone's best friend. I don't think that's ever going to happen because one, that's just you're wasting money, and we're not talking like insignificant amount of money. We're talking about a significant amount of money over a prolonged period of time. So I don't think it's because they're best friends, they're best buddies. If that was the case, someone like Alaba would still be at the club because he was best friends with basically anyone, and Visor would have been at the club because he was best friend with Alaba. So I don't think that's a that's a thing, so to speak. I don't think that's a thing. It's definitely because the club thinks that he's cheap. That's most likely it, and he can provide a value to the squad. And that's when you have those two options, being a stopgap solution and just being cheap, then that's all you really need. I wish Core was here because he's a fan of the Dier news, which I would have loved to hear his thoughts on it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, because me and you are sort of I don't want to say cold, but lukewarm. I think that's probably more accurate.
Yeah.
But he's he's a big fan of it, and I would have just loved to hear his thoughts on it. Got plenty of top cover at centre back. There's no reason to bring that dirt bag a loser to Bayern. I watched the EPL. He is trash. I mean, he doesn't need to. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like Anthony Burton. That's the thing you gotta keep in mind. He doesn't need to be amazing. Like if we're being completely honest, he does not need to be amazing. He just needs to be good enough to not lose us games. Like he doesn't need to be good enough to win us games, but he needs to be good enough to not lose us games. And that's a distinction I think that a lot of people aren't realizing that we're not playing in the Champions League until mid-February. So it's really, and we were out of the cup, so it's really just for the Bundesliga. And in the Bundesliga, you really just you basically you need to be good enough so that we don't lose the game, so that the offense can do their job, which is basically what we've been doing all season anyway. Where our defense has been, or defensive structure rather, has been so bad that they've been so bad, but not bad enough to where they're losing us the games. It's just good enough for us to still win those games, and that's all you really need from Dier. I'm not asking him to to be prime Beckenbauer. That's not what I'm asking. Just be there, don't do any silly mistakes, don't cause any penalties, and that's all I need.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't know what he means by top cover, considering we only have 3 center backs. So I wouldn't call it top cover. If one gets injured, you only got 2, and you can't go into. We're only in 2 competitions, but if you want to be in 3, you can't do it with 3 center backs.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but also keep in mind someone like Kimmich has played in center back before for a long period of time. Who else? There's someone else that's played as center back before that I can't remember right now.
Goretzka?
Has he?
Yeah, he played center back this season.
There you go. So we do have makeshift options. Again, they're not perfect. We don't need perfect right now. Ask me about perfect or ask me about good situations in February. But as of right now, beginning of January, we don't really need that. We just need players that are good enough to sort of, if one of our established center backs, aka Delict or Upamecano, if they are out with let's say a little injury, someone that can just come in and play 1 or 2 games for them, so that they can be at 100% for when the knockout phase in the Champions League continue. Because I know why people want a top solution, because they're worried that if we drop any points, Leverkusen will win it. I think it's a lot. I think what Leverkusen have done this season is very admirable. Do I think they can continue doing it for the rest of the season? That's questionable. Because their teams such as Leipzig, Dortmund, even the likes of like I was gonna say Stuttgart, but even like the likes of like a Gladbach at home or whatnot, teams like that, they can like stop Leverkusen from getting the wins and turn those into draws. And that's all we really need. And that's all we really need. It's just a few draws for Leverkusen, and suddenly, we can catch up. The same thing with Dortmund last season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think that Leverkusen is more likely to win it this season than Dortmund was last season, just because I can never trust Dortmund to like get over the finish line.
And I just never trust Leverkusen.
Yeah, I'd say Leverkusen is a slightly better shot. I mean, I don't wish injury upon any player, but like, let's say if a Wirtz or Boniface or someone got injured, they don't really have like a backup. Their squad is like smaller. Our squad's small, but like, you know what I mean. They don't really have like the backups needed to like replace it, like certain types of players. I think Alonso's a very good coach though, so I don't know. I think they will drop off, but if they do win it, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's fair. Core says that he's in the hospital. Wish you a speedy recovery.
Yeah, well, soon, Core.
Milan Paulino doesn't embody that Casemiro Javi archetype. He's slow, but he's physically strong, good awareness, and he loves defending the back four. And he makes a very interesting point. I rate him, but personally wouldn't pay more than 45 million. Yeah. I just think, again, I have absolutely no... I mean, I like Paulinho at Bayern. I think I said this during the summer. I like Paulinho at Bayern. And if we would have gotten him in the summer, then I would have said, you know what, fair enough. I think our squad is significantly stronger. My thing is this. I've got no sympathy for him. Like, absolutely zero. Like, usually when a player says, okay, I want to go to one team and one team only, I personally am like, okay, get that player in. He wants to play for the club. There are, a lot of people, a lot of players in our squad, they, are basically just here for the money. They're not here for, the passion, the passion merchant. They're not here for that. They're just here for the bag. All right. But in his case, I'm like, bro, you played yourself. Like, you've got nobody to blame but yourself. And now some of you might be saying, well, what does that matter to Bayern? We still need a reinforcement. And I'm like, yeah, sure. But he played himself. And I've got no sympathy for him. If we got someone else in, then so be it. Like, the most I'd pay for him, honestly, is like 40 million. If Fuller want more, I'd say no. That straight up, I'd just say no. He played himself. You're going to stay at Fulham now for the rest of your career, unless somebody puts in a significant offer. Look, this one I want to talk to you about, because you mentioned that you rate Alonso. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, see, this is the thing with the Alonso to Bayern thing. I don't like this like shiny new toy thing Bayern has with managers.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really don't like it because you need stability. You need to create like a culture in your team. Like, you just can't keep replacing a manager and expecting like amazing results to happen. You need to build a culture. You need to build a team around the manager. And of course, the manager has to be good, but Tuchel is a good manager. So this is someone you can trust. Alonso will come to Bayern at some point. It doesn't have to be in 2025. I think we need to give Tuchel some time. He hasn't even been here like a full year. Let's give him time. Let's give him a team to develop. He had a weird start at Bayern, coming in at a weird point. He was given a team that wasn't complete to start this season. I don't know where these Alonso rumors are coming from, whether it's like inside the club, like fucking leaking it, or like fans just like having the shiny new toy theory or whatever. I don't know. I don't agree with it. I think you just got to stick with Tuchel for now. I don't think he's done anything massively wrong. Yeah, keep building with him and see where it goes. If he does fuck up and does start making big mistakes, sure, we can have that conversation. But until then, I think it's probably not conducive to like making a great culture at Bayern.
Thank you. You basically said everything that I wanted to say, but I'll just like expand on it a little bit. Look, as I've said, I've not made videos for like 3 months or so because I did not like how we played. And I said that I would not make videos if all of them were negative. Right? That's my deal. I don't like making videos if they're just negative all the time. If it's a one negative video here and there, so be it. But I felt the way we played was just simply not good enough. Does that mean I want to suddenly get rid of Tuchel and get in Alonso? No. Even with how well Leverkusen are playing, do I suddenly just want to get in Alonso? No. And I'll tell you why. Alonso, to me, is very much what you said, which is a shiny new toy syndrome. To me, he represents what someone like Niko Kovac or Julian Nagelsmann was, which is a less established, up-and-coming, hip, new coach. And this squad, now, you can make the argument which players off the squad, who is in charge, so on and so forth. But this squad has shown that it will always have more power than a up-and-coming new manager. Examples, when Nagelsmann had some falling outs, guess who the club backed? It was the players. The players got rid of the manager ASAP. It wasn't so much. I mean, it was the playing style as well. You all know how much I hated how we played on Nagelsmann, but it was a player thing, really. The established player said, "No, we don't like what you're doing. We don't like how you're treating us," and then he was gone. Whereas when you had someone like Flick, the players loved him, and he stayed. So I don't think an up-and-coming manager works at Bayern. I think you need someone with a reputation already, someone that is someone that's been at the bigger clubs and is able to make those tough decisions. Now, the thing with Alonso is you could say that, well, he was a former player that a lot of these players looked up to or played with, and so and so they would have more respect for Alonso. That doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Like, you can have all the respect for someone as you want, but if they don't have the experience, if you just suddenly start to feel like, to bring it back to the basketball example from earlier, if you suddenly don't start to feel like, well, this player can take me forward, this player can, this coach rather can improve me, then you're going to lose respect for that. And ultimately, if you're more powerful in the club than them, you're going to be their downfall. I want to see Alonso at Bayern. I don't want to see Alonso at Bayern anytime soon. For me, he needs to win. Like, he genuinely needs to win. I don't think he's going to do it at Leverkusen. Again, it's the whole Leverkusen syndrome. I don't think he's going to win at Leverkusen. I think, look, I will say this. If he can win with Leverkusen, then we might have a discussion. But I just don't see that happening. I think, like, after Leverkusen, he needs to go to a club like a tier 2, tier 1 club where winning isn't expected, but it's likely. So I'm talking about like a club like, I was going to say Manchester United, but that's not likely. But like a perfect example, I know they're not going to get rid of their manager, but a perfect example would be like an Arsenal. A club where you can win a cup or something. You won't win the league, but you can win a cup. And just because you need that resume, basically, to like coach a club like Bayern. I don't know what the perfect club would be. Like, maybe like a Celtic. I think would be like a good like a good place for him, because then he'd have like the resume of taking like an underachieving team or like an underdog team and proving the players with Leverkusen, and then he'd also have like the resume of like proving that, yeah, you know what, I can win trophies. And yes, it would be in the Scottish Premier League, but it would still be a trophy, and I think players would respond to that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think Italy would be a really good move for him. Like, either of the Milans, I think would be really good. They're like a tier 1 club. You can win trophies with them. Because at the end of the day, like, unfortunately, the way football is that you have to command respect from the players, and you need to know how to manage egos, and you need to know how to show players that you can win with them. And you mentioned this earlier, like player power at Bayern, the players dictate who is manager and who isn't. And personally, I fucking hate that. I can't stand it. Like, one example I can give that's like not related to soccer football is that I've been watching a lot of like American college football this year, And these are young guys, and holy shit, I was shocked by like the amount of leadership they exude, the confidence they exude, the way they talk. I was shocked because these are young guys, and when I look at Bayern, I'm like, holy fuck, I've never seen like recently someone talk like these like college kids are in terms of leadership, and that really shocked me because I'm like, this squad really has no leaders in it, like truly, like. So I think that unfortunately the way it is that like you have to control the egos, and I think that what Bayern needs to do is like start creating leadership within the team. But like the manager first has to control these egos, rein them in, and then I think you can really only do that if you're a winning coach.
Yep. I mean, I very much agree. Like you already see it when like whenever we lose a game or something, or we have a bad game, the only player that really comes out to talk is Muller, even when he doesn't like play. Like it was like I remember there was like an interview like 2 months or 3 months ago where like the report was like, "Why is it always you that comes out here?" And he was like, "Well, you're not going to send the youngster out here." And I've got the experience, so I can talk about our bad losses. And I was just like, bro, you should be sending the youngsters out there because they need to take some, need to take some and assume some responsibility. But that isn't the case because the players are now more like. Could you imagine in the early 2000s, right? The players being as protected as they are now. Like, when you had your own players calling you out. And I always like the examples of like an Oliver Kahn. He would call out his own players.
Mm-hmm.
He would call out the squad. Obviously, then you have a famous interview of, Was erlauben Strunz and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So you had the team and the managers that were able to call out their own players or call out their teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you just don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
You just it's a different time, yes, but it's also just a different culture. And I think the reason why we've sort of transitioned into that is not that we've gotten soft, but we've gotten used to winning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it boils down. I think we've gotten used to winning to now, the players, they don't really have that expectation to perform week in, week out because they're so used to winning. And they're oftentimes so used to winning without any resistance that now they don't really have that. They're not able to like switch into like a different gear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they're also not able to really hold themselves accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really the big issue with the club right now. And it's why like sometimes when, we're playing against a lesser team, especially in the cup, in the Dier Pokal, we lose against those because the team, can't really get themselves out from like the first gear into like a second gear immediately. Whereas in the past, that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's like the PSG syndrome, right? You get so used to winning that, like you said, you can't flip the switch. You can't turn it on when you need to. And like you said, there's no resistance, like there's no urge within them. And one thing I heard recently is that like pressure is like privilege, and that you need to be able to perform under the big stage, under the big lights as a professional athlete. And like, which of these Bayern players can really do that? Like you said, Muller is like the only real leader. And I think it's a shame that we don't put the younger guys out there in front of the spotlight, in front of the media. Like, let them grow into their own personalities, Because when I see like the college football players, I'm like, these guys are the same fucking age as these young guys in football. They can do it. Why can't these kids do it? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, let them become their own personality. Let them become a leading figure. They can do it if you give them the tools, but we don't want to do it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I agree. But again, it's just a culture shift that happened over like the last few years. I think, again, I don't see this happening and I don't want it to happen. But I think if Bayern were to lose a Bundesliga, I think in the long term, that would be beneficial. Do I think that's going to happen? No. Do I want it to happen? No. But I do think that if we were to lose one, I don't think this year. I think if we would have lost last year, I straight up think like there would have been a lot more changes than there are now. And I don't mean that with like getting new players in. I'm not talking about transfers or anything like that. I'm talking about just like structural changes of like the top hierarchy and the structure within the team. I think there would have been a lot more calling out, which is very surprising actually this year because Kimmich has been the one on like the chopping block. Like everyone's calling out Kimmich. Everyone's like, "Oh, Kimmich has been awful. Kimmich has been like not as good as X, Y, and Z. Kimmich this year is just horrendous." And I'm just like, what about the rest of the team? Like, why is nobody calling out the rest of the team? Like, why are we all not suddenly going in on Kimmich when like the rest of the team. I mean, did you see the I think it was kicker that had like the annual like player ratings thing?
Mhm.
And Goretzka was above Kimmich. I was just like, huh?
Yeah.
like, okay. I know Kimmich has been bad, but God, be serious. Just that's
Yeah.
what I mean. It's just a lack of like serious accountability. I feel like everything is just narratives at this point in a way.
Yeah, because I think what's ended up happening is that because I think everyone sees the lack of leadership in Bayern, and because Kimmich is supposed to be the leader of the new gen, he's become the scapegoat for the lack of leadership. So I think that's what's ended up happening. But I think what Bayern needs to do in the future to prevent these things from happening is that when you scout players, you need to understand if they have leadership qualities, like if they will fight for the badge. This is becoming a rare breed of footballer. I'm not saying it's easy to scout for these types of players, but they need to look towards these attributes going forward to avoid these types of messes because like you said, like Gnabry, where's the fucking like shit towards him? He's got one goal all year. He's on
Yep.
huge wages. He's like, why can't he be a leader too? You know what I mean? Like, so I think Kimmich's become the scapegoat. I'm not saying he's been like a good player this season. He's been average at best, but I think we need to equalize the blame towards everyone who deserves it and not just focus on one, like hyper focus on one player.
Mm-hmm. Another example, in my opinion, is the Ligt.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the reports of like him, you know, of like the club looking at another player with leadership abilities. I'm just like, okay, look, you're looking for another centre back that has leadership abilities.
Mm-hmm.
The Ligt is like, say what you want about the Ligt, right? He might not, you know, he's been injured for a lot of the part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
McConnell and Kim have been great
Mm-hmm.
with an asterisk.
Yeah.
But like, you can criticize the Ligt for a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership is not one of them.
Yep.
Like he's one of the few players that are actual leaders.
Yeah.
So like to me, I'm just like, you're building a narrative again that really doesn't exist, but you don't really have those same qualifications for other players that are around him or in his position.
Yeah.
So that's sort of like my issues a little bit. That I feel like a lot of the praise and a lot of the blame is more narrative driven than it is warranted.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yeah, because you know what point in careers De Ligt impressed me the most? It was when he was at Ajax and he was like a teenager and he got the microphone and he started to chant with the crowd, lifting them up. Like from that moment on, I was like, "Fuck, this kid is like him," because like he looked like a real leader, something you need. And you know, when I see the Araujo links, I'm like, I've watched Barcelona. That guy doesn't strike me as a leader. Like I don't know what the fuck people see in him to make him believe to be a leader. Like I think it's the narrative, like you said. I think they're pushing this fucking narrative that the Ligt can't pass the ball, he can't do these things. But at the end of the day, like there's maybe two, maybe three leaders in this team, and De Ligt is one of them. Muller is one of them, and Muller's gonna leave soon. For some reason, De Ligt is trying to be pushed out. So none of this makes sense to me. I don't know what the fuck is going on in these like rumors or inside the club. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, I agree. But look. Also, Anthony Burton doesn't matter. Knee-jerk reactions are basically all that we live for.
Yeah.
It is sports. You've seen our takes after our losses, you know.
Yeah.
We've got everything. That's just the nature.
You don't want to be here if Upamecano does another Manchester City in the Champions League. Because oh my god, this chat will be crazy.
Oh, look. It is what it is. It's football. Yeah, that's the beauty of it, really. But yeah, there's nothing to apologize. Everyone has their own opinions, and that's sort of like why we all come together on here anyway. And that's why like I appreciate everyone's opinions and everyone's thoughts anyway, because I do want people with different opinions. Because if we're all just the same, then that would just be a boring echo chamber. But if I wanted that, I could just record myself and then just listen to myself. Just gonna go through some of the comments that people have left. He could have either waited till January to sign for Bayern or the extension if it falls through. That's obviously in response to Palhinha. I agree. I mean, as you mentioned, he's got nobody but himself to blame. With Tuchel in charge, the players are more likely to be gone. And that's something that we've not talk about too much. I mean, we just talked about earlier about like that typically like the players have so much power that they can get rid of Tuchel. The thing is though, it's very much like the opposite as well. With Tuchel in charge, of players are more likely to be gone. Now, there are like a handful of players that have enough power to get rid of a manager and the team, and those players that have the power are the players that have been in trade rumors and transfer rumors for about a year now since Tuchel arrived. So I do think that's very, very telling. But now that we've gotten links to Alonso, I also think that might also be very telling. So I think there's currently like a struggle of power and a battle for power going on in the club, where I'll just name a few names right now, and you can add it, or you can disagree with the names that I'm mentioning. Kimmich, he's been linked with transfers basically the entire season. Delict, again, another player that's been linked with transfer rumors and whatnot this season. Muller, granted, he hasn't been linked with a transfer or anything, but like him retiring soon. Neuer, he came back. I mean, there's not really much of an issue with Neuer and the manager because Neuer's going to play no matter what. like there's no issue for him.
Until Nagelsmann came, though.
Yeah.
Because then he got rid of the coach or whatever, so Neuer can be a little bit there too, yeah.
That's true. But like in general, like the players that are unhappy, or that you've seen in like transfer rumors are like Kimmich, Goretzka. I haven't seen Coman be linked with like a transfer or anything, but like I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a transfer rumor with Coman soon, because he's not. I mean, he's starting because Gnabry has been awful, but I do wonder how like things would have been if like Gnabry was even 5% of what he could be. But yeah, Kimmich and his entourage, as Milan Gassic says here, very telling when his entourage is himself. when he doesn't even have an agent anymore. Do I think that Kimmich has, I think with the way that Kimmich has been criticized this year, as well as Goretzka, I think the manager actually has more power than them right now. And I think that's very different than how it usually is. And it's very different dynamic than how it usually was, where Kimmich and Goretzka and whatnot were in charge. Now that's no longer the case. Now, if Tuchel says, "Oh, you know what? Let's get rid of them and let's replace them," I think the club would actually listen. That's my vibe. I could be wrong here, obviously, but that's sort of my vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Kimmich ends up leaving in the summer. Like, I really wouldn't.
Yeah, me neither.
Because it's very hard to change people's minds. So if you give someone this much power throughout most of their career at Bayern, then suddenly on the flip of a dime, it changes. It's not easy to convince them to stay and be a part of the project. I don't think. Maybe he stays, but I really wouldn't be surprised if he dips out.
Yeah. Look, Kimmich is like one of the few players in the squad that I actually rate very highly. I think I mentioned this like plenty of times before. Like, I think Kimmich is where would I rank him? Like top 2 midfielder in the world. I genuinely rate him that highly. I do think he's got deficiencies, but I think if you build around Kimmich and you actually like complement him with players that that help with his efficiencies, I think you suddenly have like the best midfielder in the world potentially. But I have an issue. I always have an issue when players think they're above the club, when players have too much power. So even though I do hold Kimmich that highly, and even though I do rate Kimmich that highly, if it was up to me, and like there was a discussion between like get rid of Kimmich and get rid of Tuchel. Now, granted, I've said in the past that I want us to get rid of Tuchel, but if there's a discussion between those two, and it's like Kimmich goes and says something along the lines of him or me, I would say, okay, it's you. Like, I do not like player power. Player power to me is a downfall of most big clubs. Like, when I was younger, I think I mentioned this before, but when I was younger, I used to absolutely despise Real Madrid for the way they treated like someone like Casillas. I used to despise them for that. Like, I always had a lot of respect for them, but when I saw how they treated Casillas, I was like, I hate you. I despise you. How could you treat a legend like that? But as I grew older and older and older, and perhaps wiser, maybe stupider, but I think wiser. I think that would be the natural progression to grow wiser. As I grew older and wiser, I realized that the club always needs to be front and center of everything. And if a player gets too big or a player thinks they're too powerful, cut them off. Doesn't matter who they are, cut them off.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of how like my viewpoint has changed over the last few years. I don't know whether you think or you agree with that. Because I feel like maybe I'm influenced a little bit by like basketball because they've got player power so prominently, and I'm just like, why? Like, why can a player just do so much? Whereas in football, at least the clubs still have some power, but I feel like that's been shifting a lot, where the players have more power now in the clubs than the managers or maybe sometimes even the higher ups.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with what you said because in basketball too, like the best players are like the face of the franchise, so they'll always put them first because they bring in the real money. I think football is starting to become like that in a sense too, and in regards to like that aspect in Kimmich, I think Kimmich also played a role in his own slander, to where he kept saying, "I'm a six, I'm a six, I'm a six," and at some point, man, like you need to listen to the manager. If they want you to play further forward and they want to sign a six, please just shut up and play whatever you're told. Like, just do it. Because if you're a leader in a team, you will do what's best for the team. And he hasn't done that so far. He complained at right back. He will complain if you don't play him as a six. So that's one issue I have with him. But yeah, I agree with what you said in terms of like the player power, and then how it's slowly kind of shifting towards like the players having all of it, when really if you want to have a sustainable culture at a team, and I keep saying culture, but I think you need to have something in place to where that if certain players leave, the team can still succeed because of the mentality and how the team has come together as a group. So I really think that's something Bayern needs to focus on.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I do find it interesting that when he was younger, Kimmich, and under a manager like Pep, and he didn't have as much power, Pep would basically play him anywhere. Centre back, sure. Midfield, sure. Right back, sure. It didn't matter. But now that he's gotten more and more power, it's always like, I'm not a right back. I'm a number 6.
Yeah.
You know, it's really changed, and I think it's a bit of an issue with giving a young player. I'll say that's the issue with giving a young player so much power, because then as they become better and better and older, they become more powerful and powerful. And I think at some point it's easier to give a player power. It's really difficult to take it away.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the issue that we're facing. I think
Yeah,
the club should have been wiser.
Yeah, I think too, because I think part of that came from like all the like the mishandling from the board, because we've seen a lot of changes within the board over the past few years,
Yep.
like in terms of their mismanagement. So I think that also played a role, like you said. I think there's been big fuck ups on the managerial side. I think there's been big fuck ups on the board side, big fuck ups on the player side. Nothing's really like gelled together to make a sustainable like team and sustainable future for the club. It's been mostly like, okay, that needs fixing. We'll fix it right now. We don't have to worry about the future. Just fix it right now. Fix it right now. We'll whatever. Just put the band-aid on it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Milan Gacic brings up that he sees Gnabry and Davis the most likely to leave. We'll talk about Davis in a second, just because there's a few more comments later on about Davis. So we'll get to him in a second. But I do also think that like we're now seeing not the same syndrome, but a similar syndrome with like someone like Davis, where again, maybe some of you guys may disagree. I don't think so. I think I'm pretty spot on when I say this. I think he's been absolutely horrendous since 2020. I straight up think that he's been horrible since 2020. He's basically living off of that Champions League run. That Champions League season, he's basically been living off of that. I think he's been terrible since then. And my issue is every time I've mentioned this, I got pushback for it. Like over the last 3 years or so, every time I mentioned, I got pushback for it. And now that he's like demanding salaries equal to like highest earning players, now suddenly people are saying like, well, you've not been good since 2020. Like, where was this for the last 3 years? When everything, when he was like, when people thought he was dedicated to Bayern, you didn't want to criticize him. But now that you've got, now that he's asking for to be compensated for like the praise that the fans have given him, now you're suddenly saying, well, you're not worth that. So where was that energy from the get-go? Now I'm just throwing that out there. So I feel like he's another case of like he got too much praise too quickly, and then people were scared to criticize him because if you criticize someone, you must hate them. You must despise them because you can't just criticize someone. Every time you say something bad about someone, it's out of malice and hatred. And now we're in a position where, well, now he's asking for the big dollars, the big pounds, the big euros, and that isn't suddenly now he's asking for too much. Suddenly he's not been good enough. Suddenly he's been struggling for too long to demand that kind of wage. Where was the energy from the get-go? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying. Take away his pace, take away his speed, and where exactly has he improved? Just a question.
I mean, he really hasn't.
Like I think he's actually regressed, if I'm being honest. Like I was watching the Vancouver Whitecaps highlights. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but I was watching that like a month ago or so. And I was just like, man, Davis could actually shoot. And now I look at him, and every time he's in the box, I'm just like, bro, what happened? What happened to you?
Yeah, because I've been a Davies defender for a while, but I've really started to consider like that I was wrong on my position. That like, I've said he needed to improve, but I said, you know what, we can keep him for the long term. I really do think at this point it's best for him and the club to just move on. I like Davies. I think he hasn't lived up to the hype. I think the salary thing does play a role, but to be honest, my big issue is that like, does he really identify with Bayern? And I'm not saying that as a dig towards just him. I could say this about almost everyone in the squad. And so, when you're asking for this much money, you've regressed in a sense. Like, how much do you really identify with the team? Like, I don't know. I think at this, and like, I think his head would turn with Madrid, to be honest. Because like the first like big Canadian player at Real Madrid, I think he would go for it. And like, I can't really blame him, to be honest. And that's where the Bayern identification comes in. So I really do think it's best for all parties, if he does want to leave, we just move on and accept it that it didn't work out as we wanted to. Thank you for your service, and I think it's best to just move on and buy a new left back, or maybe like just stick with Asnu from the academy.
See, that's also one of the things that really annoyed me, because like 2020, Davis plays so amazing at left back that like we basically play Alaba as a centre back, and then Alaba leaves because we're like, well, we've got Davis, and with his progression, if he progresses like we expect him to, then sorry Alaba, but like we've got literally like your region playing right now, and then it's just stagnated. And that's my issue. It's not even that I dislike. I don't dislike Davis. I don't dislike any of the players, if I'm being completely honest. But it's just a case of, I think he's just gotten. I always say this as a joke, but as the years go by, I say this less and less like jokey and more serious. I think the worst thing that could have happened to Davis was him doing that skill against Semedo. I straight up do.
Yeah.
I think if you didn't get all that praise, and on that day on Twitter, you had like what was it, Andy Robinson saying, "Oh, Davis is like top 2 left back," and you had what's like all these like fullbacks, that just came out on Twitter and they were like, "Oh, Davis is amazing. He's so amazing." And I think that was just the worst thing that could have happened to his career because I think from that moment he took being a fullback as doing skills, tricks, and dribbling past people rather than taking someone again. My favorite player has always been Philip Lahm. So it's like obviously when I think fullback, I think the defense first, and I think he just he got caught up so much in the hype of him being like offensively great that then he just neglected the defensive progression that he could have done. And that's why I think like the Nelson Semedo Barcelona game where he goes past him and skills and tricks and all that funny thing, I think that just ruined his career. No, okay, that's a bit harsh because he's still very young.
Yeah.
But I think that's the moment where he stopped progressing and became stagnant.
Yeah. Because what I started to learn too recently was that not every club is for every player, and I think that maybe Davies kind of learned everything he could from Bayern, and I think if he goes to Real Madrid, I think he would do very well, to be honest. And I'll still like him as a player. Don't get me wrong, I do like him, and as you said, I don't hate any player at this club. I just don't it's just fucking football at the end of the day. It's for fun, it's for entertainment. So I do think at some point we have to say okay, has XYZ players reach their peak at Bayern? If they have, let's just move them on, wish them the best, and then kind of do what Bayern has to do for themselves. Because I think the club has to always put themselves first, as you said.
I will also say this. I think, and this is just speculation here, but I think the club is also scared of, and by the club I mean like the management and sporting director, who's obviously overseeing the management. And when I say management, I mean like the coaches and the coaching staff, so on and so forth, and the physios and the training team and whatnot. I think they are scared of criticizing Davis because he's currently, in contract disputes and contract talks. So I think they're just kind of scared of criticizing him and telling him how to be better. Because I go back to the United game in the Champions League. Eric Ten Hag says, "Oh, Davis is not a good defender," and so on and so forth. And they're gonna target Davis, and then he has his best game of the season.
Yeah.
So I think he does respond well to criticism. I think he just isn't getting criticized enough at Bayern, and I don't know whether that's because of the contract talks or whether that's because they're just scared of annoying such a young player.
Yeah.
Well, this year was a contract talk. Last year was a contract talk that obviously got stalled until this year. So maybe that is the issue for the last few years, that the people in charge at the club are just sort of scared of being too critical on him because they want to extend him first.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too, because I think if that you don't want to criticize him because of the contracts, to me that falls on the management, because you put yourselves in a place where you can't criticize him. And I think of Ulay Hones, who's he's criticized players, but not publicly. He mostly brings them in, talks to them and says, "Hey, you need to do better here, here, here." Like he did with Leroy Sané, and Sané's had his best season for Bayern. So I do think the players, as you said, they respond well. They just don't get it because the board has fucked themselves over so many times by bringing in new people, fucking up the contract talks, doing all these things that don't help the players. So they make an environment that's already hard for the players to develop because you can't criticize them. You've given them a lot of money that maybe they haven't earned their way towards yet. So it's really on both parties because I'm not removing all the blame from Davies. He should still perform. Don't get me wrong, but the club doesn't do him any favors in helping him.
Agreed. This is just a question to chat for those that are listening, for those that are watching. Two things. One, like the video. Damn well you should. But two, what are your thoughts on Davis? Genuinely, do you think that okay, one, what are your thoughts on him just in general as a player? But two, do you think that Bayern will? Do you think he'll extend that Bayern? Because I don't think it's in Bayern's hands, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm not going to say, do you think Bayern will extend him? More like, do you think that Davis will extend at Bayern?
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that he should be a top earner like he's asking to be?
Yeah. Um, I don't think he'll extend, to be honest. I think that if you're gonna be like the biggest Canadian player in Madrid's history, like I could totally see someone wanting to do it, and you can't blame him. It's hard to turn down. Like I wouldn't hate him for it. I'd wish him the best. Like I still like him as a player. I've especially since like he broke out under Kovac at left back. I've always liked him. I still like him. Um, he hasn't progressed, and I think that like maybe it's probably best for both parties to split ways. He might have learned everything he can from Bayern and vice versa. So, and then in terms of what was the second question? Sorry.
So the first one was whether you think that he'll extend that ban, and the second
Yeah.
was whether you think that he deserves to be one of the top
Oh, yeah.
earners.
Yeah. In terms of top earners, I can understand why he wants to be a top earner because when you see guys like Gnabry and these guys like Coman get a lot of money and they don't have output, I would want the same shit too if I wasn't getting a lot of output and I was a young player. So you can't, I wouldn't even blame him for it. I'd want the same shit. To me, it goes back to the management. You give these guys too big of a fucking contract, and then guess what? Everyone else will want it too. So does he deserve it? In my opinion, no. But I can't argue against him wanting it because there's other guys who don't deserve it and also have it. So I can't blame him for it. To me, it just goes back to the management.
That's fair. Well, I guess I'll ask the question, and if you think that he's going to leave, for how much?
I
Actually,
think 60 to 70 mil, I think would be really good. I think you can get I think there's a lot of things you can do. I think you can promote Adam Asnu, who I think has looked really good. He's very young. Maybe he isn't the best choice for like the big Champions League games, but there's also other options. There's the guy from Girona, Gutierrez. I think that's what his name is. He looks good too. There are options out there. I think if as long as you're creative, you can get cheaper options. Take 60 to 70 million and then help other parts of the squad that needed rejuvenation, like the midfield, for example. So I think like I said, I think it could be good for both parties. Davies, I think, would perform really well at Madrid. He'll become the biggest Canadian to ever play for Madrid, and Bayern can get a good amount of cash to help rejuvenate the squad. Will they do it? We'll see, because our transfers have been pretty fucking shit for the past few years. But yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. Um, I think a majority, which actually surprises me, that majority of people actually think that he will leave. In the chat, there's nobody that really said that he'll stay, which is very shocking to me because I thought maybe there is an echo chamber here, but I always thought that most Bayern fans think that he's gonna, he's gonna stay at Bayern and he's not gonna leave. But it seems like that has changed. Maybe it just changed over the past couple of months. Maybe I just wasn't aware of it. But yeah, that's to me that's shocking and surprising. Okay. We've talked about transfers now. Enough about transfers. The reason I wanted to do this live stream today was really because of one thing. I want to talk about the season. We're halfway through the season right now. Any thoughts on the season so far as a whole?
Yeah, for me, it's super hard to judge. I think that we've done well in terms of results. Obviously, the cup game was a fucking disaster, but I think other than that, if you look at just the Bundesliga and the Champions League, I think we've done well considering how small the squad is. Because for me, I've always said this first half of the season will be hard to judge. You just don't have the numbers to make these deep runs in all these games. Like there will be hiccups. Unfortunately, one of them was the Pokal, but you can't win every game. Obviously, we want to win it, but we just didn't. We weren't able to. So for me, it's hard to judge. Um, just because we didn't really come into the season with the best squad or the most complete squad. But at the end of the day, like what matters is the results. We did in the Champions League. We're not first in the Bundesliga, but Leverkusen has been really good, and I think we've done good considering the amount of games we've had to play with this thin squad. So, and there have been games too where I thought we performed really good. There's been other games where I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on? But Yeah, I think it's hard to judge just because of like the way we went into the season. So I'll take it. I think it's acceptable for the most part. I'm not upset. I think that once we get the transfers in this January, sorry to take it back to transfers, but I think it'll be easier to judge from this month onwards to the end of the season once Tuchel gets more tools.
Okay. I'm the numbers guy, so I'll just ask you then: how would you rate our season so far
Out
out
of
of 10?
10? Yeah.
Yep.
I'd give it a 7.5. I would have given it an 8.5 if it wasn't for the Pokal. The Pokal isn't the biggest deal to me. I'd want the club to win it. We haven't won it in a while. It seems to be like our bogey competition, but yeah, I'm not going to be super harsh on like Tuchel for not getting it done, considering like the squad's pretty small. But yeah, I'd say 7.5. How about you?
That's... I'm gonna have to rethink because I had a number in mind. You gave too much, and I'm like,
Yeah.
am I remembering the season wrong? Like now I'm questioning myself.
I'm being very
Okay,
lenient though. I'll say that I'm being lenient just because like of the thin squad. So like that's something I'll perfectly like. I'm perfectly fine to admit.
that's a valid argument. And the other valid argument that I didn't even take into consideration is that I believe we're the team with the most injuries in the Bundesliga. I saw a chart yesterday, and we were at the very bottom with in terms of injuries and whatnot. So like we have the most injuries of any team in the Bundesliga this season, from what I remember. So I do have to take that into account as well. And so you know what? I'm going to be generous. I'm actually going to be no. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to be generous. I'm not going to be harsh. I'm just going to be honest. All right. And I'll say a 5. I had a completely different number in mind. I you know what? The number I had in mind was like a 2 or 3. But you actually made a lot of great points. I will say that. And also you made me realize that we're dealing with things that are out of our control in that way, in a sense. You can always lose games, and that's always been my thing. That I don't really care too much about us losing games. To me, it always burns down to performance. But I don't think our performances have been that great. But I think our performances have been good enough to where I can't really, or I shouldn't really give it anything less than a 5. And our results have been also good enough to where it really doesn't warrant anything less than a 5. What would I ask for? In terms of what I would like to see, in the second half of the season, I would like our performances to be more controlled, and not to be as wily coyote as they seem to be. I mean, with Mickey Mouse now being in public domain. I don't want it to be Bayern. I want it to be a lot more. Instead of Mickey Mouse and Tom and Jerry, I would like our performances to be more of like a symphony, like just a calm, composed symphony.
Yeah.
I know the metaphor doesn't make too much sense, but you know what? I'm sticking with it. All right. I want it to be. I want it to be like a Tchaikovsky, more like a Mahler symphony. All right. Rather than just like rather than just cannons flying off left and right, I want it to be composed. I want it to be calm. I want it to. When I tune in, I want the opponent to have maybe one shot on target, and not to score from that one shot on target.
Yeah.
All right, but it to be from like 40 meters out, like the Jokic against the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, no, we're not bringing this up.
But yeah. That's what I want. Just a little bit of calmness.
Yeah.
I think football is supposed to be fun, but it also needs. It shouldn't be. I shouldn't be sitting there like the 89th minute wondering, they're gonna score now, aren't they?
Yeah. I kind of miss the boring games where like we would lead early on and like control the game, and like we think it's boring, but like it was a good game. You know what I mean? Like the pep times. Yeah. And I like that he gave a high score. Year of positivity starts today. And
it does indeed.
Yeah, and then one thing I was going to say too is that, our defense this season too, in terms of goals conceded, it's been pretty good, except for the one game where we conceded like, what was it, like 4? Yeah, so if we take those away, which like is stupid to do, like like you shouldn't do that, but if we did, we only conceded like 11, which is pretty good. And then for me personally too, like I've enjoyed the games this year because of Kane. So like even if we play bad, I still enjoyed watching the game because like I enjoy watching Kane score and Kane play. So that's probably another reason why I gave it like maybe a bit too high of a score, just because of like the boost from Kane. But yeah.
So I will raise you two counter arguments. One, our attack has been good for like 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Before Kane, it was Lewandowski, banging in goals left, right, and center.
Mm-hmm.
So that really hasn't changed much for me, at least. Like
Mm-hmm.
I tune into our games and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna score.
Mm-hmm.
Like there has never been a single time where I tune into our game and I was like, oh, I don't think we're gonna score today. Like even against City, when we were, how much did we lose? Like we lost like what 3-0, I think, in the first game. I
Yeah.
was there. I should really know it, but I already forgot. I said, oh, we'll win the second game 5-1 because I always expect us to score. That's not an issue that I like see us having. It's always defensively. Now, that's my second point I'm going to raise because you mentioned, well, we've only conceded like 11 goals this year, haha, or 11 goals in the Bundesliga this year, haha. My issue isn't so much with how many goals we concede. That's really what it should be at the end of the day. The bottom line. But I don't like the bottom line. I've never liked the bottom line. What's the bottom line in the first place? What does that even mean? The bottom line, like, oh, I'm looking at the bill, I'm looking at the bottom line. But what about like the waiter? How much tips did I give to the waiter? How much did my meal cost? How much the bottle of water that I ordered? How much did that cost? Like the bottom line doesn't matter to me. I need context. I need to actually understand, like, what did we spend that money on? Like when I went for that meal, what did I actually buy? I don't care that I spent, $2,000. What did I actually spend those $2,000 on? Was it like 1.5 grand on the meal and 500 on the waiter as tip, or was it I bought I bought a slice of bread and butter for like $5, and then I gave the waiter like $2,000 in tips. Like, what is the context behind it all? And so for me, I look at our defense. I don't care what the numbers. I don't even know what the numbers are. You said 11 goals. I'm trusting you on that one.
It's 15, but if we remove the 4 from like the one fuck up game, it's 11.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I'm looking at it. I'm just like, do I feel confident whenever the opposing team has the ball in our box or is approaching our box? Do I feel confident? Do I say to myself, you know what? I don't think they're going to get a shot off. I think our defense and our midfield, they can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm too worried here.
Mm-hmm.
No. Anytime there is a counter, I'm just like, okay, we're going to concede. Anytime they've got the ball in any sort of, like, it could be the first shot of the game in the 89th minute. And I'm like, okay, this is the time where they're going to score. I don't trust our defense. I don't trust our defensive structure. It's not that I don't trust our defensive players. It's when I say defense, I don't mean necessarily like the back four or whatever. I mean the defensive structure. I mean the people that are there in the box defending, because obviously when they're in the box, it really doesn't like give that same shape, because then you've got the midfielders dropping deep as well. I don't trust the team. I just don't. I don't. Maybe that will have to come with time, because I've not trusted them for years now. So maybe that will come with time. Maybe I just need to see it more. Maybe at the end of the season, I'll be like, you know what? I trust the team. But as of right now, as of today, as of what day is it? Friday, the 5th of January, 2024. I do not trust these guys. I do not trust them. I think that if we come up against a team like City, I think we're conceding 5. Do I think we can score 6? Sure. I think we're conceding 5 in 2 legs. I mean, I go back to like the United game in the first game. How many did we concede? We conceded like
it was 4-3.
Yeah, we conceded 3 goals.
Yeah,
that's United.
And all the goals were shit. Every goal they scored was shit. But we still
exactly. Like what was it? Holland has scored like 1 goal
Mhm.
in the Premier League, and yet he scored against us.
Mhm. And then Casemiro got a fucking double, I
Like
think,
that's
right?
what I mean. It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the first point, in terms of the goals having changed, like I can't argue against that because like it hasn't. I just really like watching Kane play, so I really I can't like argue against it at all. But I agree with in terms of like the confidence of the defense because like if we look at it like systematically, like just individual players, like do I trust Kim in the big games? Yeah. Do I trust the Ligt in the big games? Yeah. Do I trust Upa? I still have PTSD from City, so I'm sorry. I can't.
Ah,
I can't. Do I trust Mazawi defensively? Not really. Do I trust Davies defensively? Not really. Do I trust Kimmich defensively? No, because when he gets the ball on the edge of the box, he seems to lose it quite a lot, and he seems to get shrugged off a lot. So I don't really trust him. Goretzka, his positioning fucking sucks forward and backwards, so I don't really trust him. So yeah, I agree with you there. Like I don't trust the defensive aspect of the team for the most part. Like out of all the names I mentioned, like he's like six, but I just like named only two I could trust. So that's like one area we got to improve in.
do you trust Neuer?
Yeah, I trust Neuer. He had one fuck up recently. God damn it, what was it? I think it was like a near post thing, but I really shouldn't say this, but I trust Neuer because of like his past and what he's brought. He might not be as good as what he was before, but I will give him the benefit of the doubt because of his legacy. I'm that might be a mistake, but I do trust him.
Okay. Do you trust Thomas Müller?
Yeah, I will always trust Muller is my favorite player ever, like by far. Like the way you feel about Lahm is how I feel about Muller. I should probably have Muller as my profile pick then, but yeah, Muller is my favorite player ever. I think like in terms of his like intelligence, his leadership, um, yeah, everything about I really like him. Like the way he is like Mr. Bayern. So yeah, I'm always gonna trust Muller.
Okay, that's fair. My question to you then:
Mhm.
do you trust your profile picture?
Yeah, that's where it gets interesting. Yeah, because he started off really good, got a lot of goals and assists. His numbers went down, but I don't think he played bad. I think he was played out of position. So like there's always been this weird thing with Sane, right? One season we say he's not a right winger, the next season we say he's not a left winger, and then we've had these. I feel like we've had these conversations before on here. Like he can
Yeah.
only play on one side or the other, and then now it feels like he can only play on the right side, and when he plays on the left, it's just not as good. Whereas before, like we would say, oh, only play him on the left, but yeah, I think his numbers went down since he moved to the left. I don't know why he's playing down there when he was doing better on the right, but yeah, I don't know. I want to say something has changed with him this season, like because of how good he's been. I think this could also be a mistake because like he's been poor like for the first 3 years he's been there, but I want to say this is the year where he can like kind of put everyone on his side. But he's just got to keep performing. Like I don't think he's performed bad, even though he hasn't got the numbers. I think he's still done well without the numbers. I just think he's got as long as he keeps performing. I think the goals will come back.
Okay. Um, what about Musiala? I'm just kind of running through the team right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Musiala is one. He was so after the World Cup, he wasn't that good. I think like everyone can kind of admit that, and he did save our season at the end. He's been injury prone this first half of the season for quite a bit. Yeah, I would say I do trust him. I like in the big games. Like I don't want to say United's a big game because they're fucking shit, but like it is a big game. Um, I think he did really well there. I think a lot of like I saw a lot of praise for him from multiple fan bases on Twitter. I would say I trust him. Yeah, I think I can rely on him.
See, that's the issue though. Getting praise from multiple fan bases on Twitter.
Mhm.
Like we saw it with Davis. There are
Yeah.
people on Twitter, that don't watch Bayern. All they care about is just like the skills, the tricks, and the flicks. That's
Mhm.
all they care about. So
Mhm.
I think like getting praise from them is like pointless. But I know the players will look at that. I know the players. They've got their own burners, the burner accounts and whatnot. They look at that and they're like, "Oh yeah, these guys like what I'm doing. Like 50 step overs a second,
Mhm.
but like without being productive at all. Like basically being Anthony.
Mhm.
Whereas I think what like the model they should be going after is like I need to be as effective as possible, and it's the reason why I like Thomas Muller so much because it's none of that. It's just effectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And you could really say it's because he doesn't really like use social media that much.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, he's been using it a lot more recently than ever with his videos, I think, on like Instagram or whatnot. But like he's not really someone that I could imagine having a burner account.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think it shows in his gameplay that he doesn't try to be flashy. He doesn't try to play in a way that like other people would be like, oh yeah, this is amazing. He just gets on a pitch and does his job.
Yeah, I think it goes back to like the older Bayern too, right? With like Lam, Basti, Robin, Ribery, these guys. Like, of course, like Ribery was flashy, but at the end of the day, like they all focus on just getting their job done, and it wasn't about being like the biggest player, the best player, like the most fun player to watch. Each one of them just did their job on the pitch, even if they weren't the most flashy.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Kane, do you trust him? And
This
think
is also
about
an interesting one.
Think about this
Yeah, this
before
is
you
also an
answer.
interesting one. Yeah, because there was the penalty miss in the semifinals against France, the Champions League fuck up against Liverpool, the bottle job campaign where they could have won the league against Leicester. So consistently throughout his career, he's fucked up. But
Oh, here comes the
the
here
counter
comes the
argument you can make is how much was that Tottenham versus how much was Kane, or how much of it was England versus just Kane? Because Southgate is a shit coach. Spurs are Spurs. I think Kane made a very good leap coming to Bayern, putting more pressure on himself. I think he's had a phenomenal first start to the season. I think he's done really, really well. I've really enjoyed watching him. Like the way he passes the ball, it's really, really good. His link up play, I think his shooting has been pretty good, really good. He's on course to break Lewandowski's record. So, as a Bayern player, from what I've seen him his time at Bayern, yes. If we take into account his whole career, you could make the argument no, but then I feel like you got to differentiate how much was the teams versus himself in those scenarios.
So here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If Bayern lose the Bundesliga this year
Mm-hmm.
and then go out in the Champions League, would you, it's just a hypothetical question, get rid of Kane?
No way.
Would you blame him?
Like it depends. If like he does another fucking penalty miss like in a Champions League, then I'll get upset. Don't get me wrong. Like I'll be like,
okay. Let me rephrase my question. We play against Leverkusen. If we win, we're basically guaranteed to win the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
He gets a penalty and he misses.
Yeah.
In a Champions League, he misses a penalty and we go out.
Yeah.
What then?
I would be upset. Don't get me wrong. I'd still keep him. Like I think I'm gonna sound like a big hypocrite because I judge Upamecano heavily on that one game against City. So I know I'm gonna look bad, but with Kane, like he's so reliable that like even if he had those two fuck ups, I don't think there's a better striker than him in world football right now as a complete package. So I think it would be a mistake to just sell him off those two games. Like I said, I do look kind of stupid because Upamecano's like fuck up against City, but I think Upamecano is more replaceable than a Kane. So I think that would give credence to like having to keep Kane in that scenario.
Okay. That's all I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to ask. Because there is a very powerful, very wise saying that goes along the lines of you can take Tottenham out of the boy, or you can take the boy out of Tottenham, but you can't take Tottenham out of the boy. And now it really boils down to like who is the real Tottenham? Who is the real choker? Is it Leverkusen? Or is it, in this case, the Tottenham affiliated Harry Kane?
You know why I think it's Tottenham the club and not Kane? You know the World Darts Championships or whatever the fuck just happened?
Yep. Yep.
The
Best
guy, the
football in the world, by
16-year-old.
the way. Luke
What?
Litter. Yep. Luke
Yeah.
Litter.
He took a picture with James Madison on the Spurs official account and he lost the final. So I think it's the team, not Kane. Just based
Well,
on
he was never supposed to make it to the. Actually, no. Yeah, I can't even say he was never supposed to make it to the final because I knew from like round one that if Van Gavin, I don't know how much you follow darts, but if Van Gavin would go out, then he would make it to the final. I had a bet actually because my big one, like the person that won it, he was the overwhelming favorite just because he's had such an amazing year. But like the overwhelming like best darts player period is like Van Gavin, who went out in the semis. Because even though he could hit the 180s like a Don like he always does, he missed on the doubles like he always does in the World Star. That's why he pisses me off so much because I'm rooting for him every single year, and every single year he lets me down on the doubles. But that's a different story. Sorry. I'm a bigger dart fan than probably football fan. I'm not. I'm not.
I feel like darts isn't big in the US, but I could be wrong.
It's not.
Yeah.
It was really only big in the UK, and now it's getting like bigger. I mean, it was big in the UK and the Netherlands, and now it's getting big in like all the other European cities. Countries. Because it's basically like it's the Christmas sport. Like every Christmas, I don't watch darts besides the World Championship every single year during Christmas because it always starts at like 20th of December and lasts until like the 3rd or the 4th of January. So you've got something to watch all the way throughout, Christmas and New Year's Eve, so on and so forth.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, in America we have real sports on Christmas Day, like the NFL and NBA. So that's
not real sports. Dart is the perfect sport. You should see me with the darts. I've been practicing. My average right now is at 47, which should be enough for me to join a league, but like a pub league. But still, I'm still trying to practice more to get my average up higher, and then I'll join a league and go pro.
Will we see you at the World Darts Championships one year? Is the question.
No. You got better luck and see me at the next World Cup.
I feel like it's really hard, right?
Germany.
It's got to be super hard, right? Like to just play darts, right? Just to get it where you want it to. Like I feel like it's insanely hard.
Okay, we're kind of going off topic here.
Yeah, we're going off topic. Yeah.
Darts isn't that hard to play if you've got someone else to play against. But when you're practicing by yourself, that's where it gets like really frustrating because like your arm just gets tired after a while. Like, I can play for an hour and after that, my arm just will stop working. But when I'm playing against someone else, you're throwing and then they're throwing. And so like you get a little bit of like rest. And so it's like easier to practice that way. But you also got to have like just the mental fortitude of just throwing at the same number or like the same triple all the way through. But again, that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Anthony Burton brings up a very interesting question in regards to the Super League. Thoughts on the return of the Super League? How will it possibly affect Bayern in the Bundesliga? I don't think it will happen because most clubs are against it. My friend, most clubs are not against it. Like, most clubs would 100% join in a second if they didn't get backlash from their fans. Like the clubs themselves, they're not against. You think Bayern would be against it? Absolutely not. They see the kind of money. Yes, the Bayern CEOs and hierarchy, they don't actually get the money. It doesn't go into their pocket. But do you think they are against it? Come on, be serious. They see the money signs and they're like, we can't compete against other teams if we don't join it, so we're gonna join it. But it would cause controversies if they did. It's actually, I don't know whether you were here back then, but I brought this up when like the idea was first mentioned, and I said I think within the next 5 years. Now, granted, I don't know when the idea was first mentioned. I'd have to go back and look at my channel, but I remember very clearly saying that I think the Super League would come back within 5 years' time, and that Bayern would join. And I also said that would be the end of me watching football. But that's just my thoughts. What do you think about the Super League?
Yeah, I think the Super League first popped up in like 2021, right? The idea of it?
Yeah, it was around that time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. Like, every club would fucking join it if they could without the backlash. If it does happen, which I think eventually it just will, to be honest,
Yep.
because like UEFA is a fucking mafia too. Don't get me wrong. Like the
Oh,
idea
absolutely.
that the idea that these like people on Twitter go, "Oh, UEFA cares about soccer," blah blah blah. Please shut up. Shut the fuck up. No, they don't. Like that's wrong. Like both sides are mafias. They're looking after their own self interests. They don't give a shit about the fans. They don't give a fuck what the fans think for the most part. It's mostly about the money, and the fans are the ones generating the money, I guess, in a sense. So like in a way they do, but yeah, if there is a Super League, I'm not watching it. I don't want to be a part of it. I will not watch soccer again if that becomes the case. Um, yeah, I do think it's going to end up happening though at some point. I don't think soon. But I wouldn't be surprised if a decade from now there's a Super League. But I don't think within the next like 2, 3, 4, 5 years we'll see it. But I think maybe in like in a decade we could see it.
Well, I think 2 years.
Really, that's super short.
Yep. I think 2 years. And the good thing is, as I said, I will stop watching football. Not because like I'm all like pro UEFA or pro like Champions League or pro Europa League or anything of that. I don't care about them. I will completely honest, I don't care about UEFA. For me, it's always boiled down to one thing, and it's the reason why I don't like the Super League, at least in its current format, is you're basically getting rid of competition for the sake of guaranteed money.
Mhm.
And as a fan, there's no such thing as like relegation or new teams being brought in or like teams leaving. Then to me, I just don't see the excitement.
Mhm.
Like that's for me the thing. I just don't see the excitement. At that point, I just don't see why I would watch.
Mhm.
And football to me is very important, but it's not that important to where like I wouldn't just drop it within a day. Like
Mhm.
I could start watching football literally tomorrow, and I would have absolutely no problem with it because I could just pick up another sport.
Mhm.
I watch like 10 different sports. I started watching basketball, for example, last year, and literally I have not missed a single a single.
Warriors game.
I watched every single game of Wemby, for example. Um, I could just pick up another sport.
Mhm.
If I drop football today, next year it'll be American football that I pick up, or
Mhm.
maybe I'll even go that low, and start watching cricket. But it doesn't matter to me. I'll be honest, it doesn't matter to me. Football is a lot in my life. I watch it all the time, but I watch it because it gives me excitement. It's
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah.
Once it stops being fun, there's a very powerful saying in the UK in regards to betting. When the fun stops, stop. And it's the same thing with football or sports in general, or anything really. When it stops being fun, stop. And I'm actually, funny enough, I would consider myself okay. Let's just psychoanalyze myself just a little bit, just for the sake of it. Scratch it. Screw it. Um, I'm the kind of person that picks up new hobbies every single year and then drops them the following year after, even if I don't love them. So some of you guys may know I play instruments. I've got a YouTube channel actually dedicated just on me learning how to play the piano when I was like 20. I dropped that. I dropped the piano. I dropped that immediately after like 3 or 4 years.
Mhm.
Learned how to play the guitar. Dropped that after 6 months because I enjoy the fun for me is the challenge of either succeeding or failing. But once that I feel like that's gone, or once I feel like I've gotten over that hurdle, I don't care anymore. And the same thing would apply with sports. If there is no challenge, if there is no we've been terrible this season, so we're going to be out of the Super Cup, or we've been amazing, or this team, in the Netherlands has been amazing, so they're going to be promoted into it. If that doesn't exist, then to me, there's just no fun, and I just drop it immediately. I don't really have any qualms about that.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Because, like, people say, like, I don't know, it's weird because I enjoy watching games like Stuttgart versus Bayern, Hoffenheim versus Bayern. They're not the most, like, you won't get the most big names out of those games, but, like, I enjoy watching them. There's a certain heritage to it. Like, these are German teams in the German league that are gonna play the games. There's a big like fan culture. I enjoy it. Like I think it's a big part of like football and like the rise of football. And in college football, there's a big controversy this year because like the team that won back to back championships, they weren't in the playoff this year, and so what people were saying is like, you know what, you're the whatever your claim to be doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you need to play the games and win the games to prove that you're the best. And what the Super League does, it says we don't need to play the games. We're the best and we're going to stay the best. To me, that's bullshit. Play the games. If you are the best, you will prove that you're the best. It doesn't matter who you play, how big, how small, play all the games. That's how it is.
Mm-hmm. Very much agree. Core. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah. I am. Yeah, a little bit.
How are you anyway?
I'm okay. I'm all right.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, decent. Can't complain too much.
Mhm.
I've got a question for you that we brought up earlier. That we would have loved to like hear your thoughts on. Eric Dier to Bayern? Question mark. What are your thoughts?
I think he's a good signing. I think he fits the Bundesliga. He's not really a Champions League center back. But he fits the Bundesliga. He's very versatile. And another thing too is he's a much better ball center than him and Jane Makano. So
There's no way
that's why I'm saying it's not that
there is
bad.
no way you just said that Eric Dier is a better ball playing centre back than Kim and Upamecano, especially Upamecano and Kim.
Yeah.
There is no way.
Upamecano is.
Wait,
Upamecano
Kim has
is
the most
ridiculous.
forward passes of any defender.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying when he comes to the team. You understand. But anyways, the other thing too is I don't even think it's gonna happen because I think people are just being overreactionary. I'm just being honest. I think people is being overreactionary. I want to see the other two options. Who are the other two options that they keep talking about? To be honest,
Araujo.
Arrow is an option. Third
Say that again. You're breaking up a little.
said I want to see option.
Well, here's the thing. All right. And here's something that I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this, right?
And also,
No,
you have to understand he's a fourth choice center back, guys. He's not going to be playing every single game. Like, it's the only reason why we're signing him is because he's versatile and also he fits the Bundesliga the way the Bundesliga is played. So that's why.
no, I get that. We actually brought that up earlier that like the player that we get in doesn't need to be a world beater. They don't need to win the game for us. They just need to be good enough to not lose the game for us.
Exactly.
But here's the thing that I'm gonna say. Should we not trust the youth? Should we not trust our youth players?
I think they're good, but the thing is they're not physically strong. Bundesliga, you need a certain type of physicality.
Do you?
Yeah, you do. Because look at Pavlovic. Like, as good as he is, he's still getting bullied by midfielders, bro. Especially in Stuttgart. That Stuttgart game, the Wolfsburg game, he was getting bullied. Like, come on, you kind of need that. I think Dier fits Bundesliga. I really do. I don't think he's a Champions League you know, someone who you bring in, But my only problem is Tuchel said the lift is slow. So what does that make Dier? That's my only problem per se.
Mhm.
Because if you're telling me he's slow, the lift is slow, then Dier is 10 times worse the player that the lift is.
Mhm.
And to be honest, I think the lift is probably better than Upamecano. Kim,
Why? Okay, sorry. What's with the Open Meccano hate?
sorry man, this guy's getting bullied
That's a bit of an exaggeration. Like he's had good games, but like
No,
has he let us down?
no,
Yeah.
no, he's not had any good game
No, come on.
aside from.
You're telling me he's never had a single good game at Bayern?
Okay, the thing is, yes, he might have had a good game, but
Yeah.
we still conceded because of him. And the thing is, he doesn't really have a football head. You get what I'm saying?
I don't disagree. I think
I
he's let us down.
I think I think the best thing I I prefer the Ligt and Dyer partnership over Upamecano and the Ligt partnership. I think
Okay,
this is
chat. I need to ask. Chat. Um, what are your thoughts on Upamecano? Like, I'll just ask. All right, what are your thoughts on Upamecano? Like, where do you
bro.
view
He's
Upamecano
so
at
fragile.
Bayern?
He's so fragile. Don't you see? Like he's so fragile. It's not even a joke.
I just feel there's so much hate radiating from you, and I don't understand why.
Because
Regarding
he's not good.
Upamecano,
He's not buying level center back. I keep telling you guys this, you're not listening. If we go out of Champions League, you see what I'm talking about. It's him. He's just not the right fit for Bayern.
look, if we go over Champions League again, all right, and it's because of him. Look, I'm shutting the channel down. I'll just say this right away. I'm shutting it down. All right. If we go out because of him making a stupid mistake again, I'm shutting the channel down for good this time. There will be no coming back. It will be over. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, look, I'm not saying he's not good. It's just that Dyer has more experience than him. That's what you guys also have to understand. In big game situations, I trust more in Dyer than Upamecano.
You've not
I'll
even
be
seen
honest
him
with
play for Bayern yet, and how can you trust him?
He only played for Spurs, and Spurs have only played in
you.
one final. Their
Exactly.
whole yeah,
Just because
they lost it.
just because Spurs, right? Listen to this. Just because Spurs is a bad team and also he makes mistakes in Tottenham, it doesn't really it's it's a different ball game. Look at Sancho, he's coming to Brooklyn. What are you gonna say there? Because I think Sancho is gonna actually in the next 4 months or so, if he gets his rhythm back, he probably might be one of the best players in Bundesliga.
Well, Sancho's an interesting case because he's had disciplinary issues even at his first stint at Dortmund, and then
Mhm.
he made a big fuck up going to United where they kill every single player's career. So I don't know. That the situation's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, look, like for me personally, I'm gonna be honest. Like you guys have to look at football differently because the nowadays players that you guys are referring to, like Tosin Adarabioyo, Chalobah, these guys are error prone. Bro, the day that I heard they were interested in Tomori, I was sick, man. I was sick. Can't believe it.
Yeah, but then isn't Eric Dyer error prone too? Like they're all error prone,
He's
and
he's
so is
he's
Hoopla too.
error prone. Listen to what I'm saying. He's error prone, but he is the Tuchel type player. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys.
Yeah,
Because Tuchel is not. He's not a Pep Guardiola. Tuchel's not. He doesn't have a game style. He doesn't have a game system. He alternates during the game.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, I know
I
you
get
guys
your
don't like this guy.
yeah.
I know you guys don't like this guy. But Chalaba, I'm sorry, he ain't it. Um, Tosin Adarabioyo, I think I think he's one of the worst center backs I've seen in football too, because that guy will get bullied by every striker in Bundesliga. And I mean every striker, because he's just so fragile, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I get your point in terms of like a Tuchel player, but I would
Mm.
argue that Chalaba is probably more of a Tuchel player, considering he played with Tuchel and Tuchel likes him. So like, but like, he's
The
also
thing is,
he's also
the
injured
thing
right.
about the thing about Chalaba is Chalaba has he's he's very good in terms of interceptions. I give him that. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm,
But he is not the right player. You get it?
mhm.
He's not the right player to go for, because you are buying another Upamecano. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And he's not consistent. And Dier can play DM. That's one thing I like so much. Dier can play DM. Do you know when there was a game that we played this season where Tuchel put Delict as a DM and
Mhm,
it worked? That's what I'm trying. That's what Dyer gives. It gives
mhm,
Tuchel that flexibility, you know.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, one
but
thing
but
that
I
would be
would.
interesting. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say that like if we want a player who can play CDM, center back, and right back, there was one at Bayern who we sold like 2 seasons ago, I think, who can do all three. Chris Richards. So I was thinking maybe we can.
You're just saying
You
that
see,
because he's
that's
American.
that's a young. You
Yeah, he's
guys don't
American, but
understand.
he's done. When he's played DM at Palace, he's played well. Like I've watched some of the games where he's played DM. He looked good, and he fits all three roles. Because one thing too that like I want to see at Bayern is I want to see like different. Like I don't want all the power going to the players. I don't want all the power going to the coach. I want it to be like split between player, not necessarily player, but like coach and management. So like, I don't really want to see Tuchel get complete control of the squad planning because if he leaves, then what happens? So I think like giving him too much power and saying like you specifically want this guy, so we'll get it. I don't think you
But
can
but
keep
the
doing
thing
that.
is, but the thing is, all I want is success.
Mhm.
All I want is, I don't care at the moment. I don't care about the future. The future can work for itself. At the moment, Bayern has a team to win the Champions League, but the problem is we need to get rid of these bozos.
Yeah, but I don't think
Sonny,
Bayern's built. I don't think
the,
Bayern's
the
built.
guy on the guy on your AVI is one of them.
Yeah,
The one who plays in left back is one of them. The one who plays center back, he's one of them. Um, who else? Then you have, yeah, and then you have Kimmich, who is just not a DM. I'm sorry, but if Dyer comes, I can see Kimmich sit on the bench for a long time.
That is
I'm
never
telling
gonna
you.
happen.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man.
if Dyer benches Kimmich, I'm not watching football for the rest of the season.
Because Dyer is better than Kimmich. That's what you guys don't
All
understand.
right, no,
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 no, no,
no, no, no.
no. I allowed this. God,
I've
5 minutes.
criticized Kimmich. I'm not going that far.
Prince, let me
No,
ask you a
there's no
question.
Prince.
Let me
There
ask you
is
no
none
no
of
no,
that.
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If you played Upamecano in the DM area, remember I was telling you about playing Upamecano as a DM, right? How many backward passes to the goalkeeper would Upamecano do if he was a DM? Just tell me.
I don't know. Not many.
Exactly. Because the thing is, Upamecano plays one touch. Dyer can play one touch. That's what I'm trying. And the other thing is, as a DM, you need athleticism. You need athleticism. Athleticism.
Xabi Alonso was the least athletic guy in the world. All right.
Busquets.
Yeah.
So I have to say that it's either Goretzka against
You're breaking up there. We can't really hear
I
you.
said I said it's either Goretzka gets dropped or Kimmich. But I'm gonna be honest, you could see a Joshua Kimmich and Eric Dyer partnership. I'm being serious because it's just not the players are just
I'll be honest. I've heard too much. I've heard too much. Too much. I've heard too much. All right.
Okay,
Look,
who would you pick? Who would you pick, Goretzka or Dyer?
Goretzka.
The athleticism
You
coming
pick
is crazy
you
because
pick
Dier
Goretzka.
looks fat and he's slow.
Goretzka is terrible, but he's still better than Eric Dyer. That's the issue. Like,
Do you
we need
know
to be
what
honest
cover
with
shadowing
ourselves,
is?
right? We need to be honest with ourselves. You call yourself the homo objective. I think it should be objectivity, but regardless, or
It is
objective thoughts, or maybe objective opinions. I don't know, but here's the
objectivity.
here's the point, right? Kimmich is a top 2 midfielder in the world. I'll allow you to extend it up to top 5. I can give you that. I can allow that. Anything below that, and I think you just have a vendetta against Kimmich. I really do. I really do. Upamecano, and let me be careful with what I say now because I need to think. Upamecano is a top 10-ish centre back in the world.
Who told you?
Ish.
No.
Ish.
Friends,
Anywhere
tell me why.
between
Tell
10
me,
to
show
100.
me, show me, show me, show me. Where's his World Cup? Where's his Champions League? And I don't count the World Cup final that he reached with Mbappe. I don't count that because that was all what's gonna call it? This guy,
Mbappe?
Griezmann.
Oh.
So I don't count it. I don't count it. That was all Griezmann who took them to that final. I'm sorry, guys.
You're not giving him credit for anything.
You
You're
can't
not giving
prove
him
any
credit for
point.
anything. He was
No,
France's
but
best player.
you can't prove to me that Upamecano is top 10 because he doesn't even make it nowhere top 10. I can
Give
name
me
10
give me
better.
10 centre backs that are better. Give me 10 centre backs that are better than Upamecano.
Okay, let me give you one. Okay, let me give you one.
No, I want 10 to 1.
Eric
You
Dyer,
have
number 1.
you have currently right now. You have Diaz. You have what's gonna call it? Lisandro Martinez. You have
Who?
You
Lisandro
mentioned from
Martinez.
United?
Who?
Listen. You have Lisandro Martinez.
You
You
not to
have
say he's a top 10 centre back, and you don't not to say that he's better than Upamecano.
you have
Come on.
William Saliba. You have William Saliba
Saliba
who's there.
sucks.
Oh my
Van
goodness.
Dijk. This is not in order, guys. This is not in order. Van Dijk. You have who else? Drona center back. I forgot what that guy's name
You don't
is.
even know
He's
his
also
name. You don't even know his
no,
name.
no. To be honest, I don't. I forgot his name, but I know he's better than Upamecano.
Your
And then
Upamecano slander needs to stop. It needs to stop.
you got Jimenez. Jimenez is still there. He's still up and running. You have Bastoni. You have
You're just making names up now.
Acerbi. You have who else?
You don't
You
even know watch Serie A.
Acerbi. No. Listen. Even Juventus Gatti is better than that guy. I'll be
No
honest with you.
shot. Gatti is better. I've seen Juventus. No shot. I watched because of
Yeah,
No
yeah.
shot.
Gatti is better. Gatti is better. There's so many players. I can name all of them.
None
I
of the
can
none
name.
of the names that you mentioned are better, besides maybe Van Dijk.
Diaz is better.
So you're trying to
They,
put Upamecano in the same conversation as Van Dijk. Is that what you're telling me?
yes,
No, he's not.
you just have an irrational hatred for
No,
and
he's not.
against Meccano.
Even Garbio, the Man City center back, is better. Akanji is better. Who else is better,
You did not just say Akanji is better.
bro? Even
You did not
Kunate.
just say that.
Do you know Kunate is a better center back than this
Oh my
guy? And
goodness.
he came from Leipzig. He
Oh
came
my
from Leipzig.
goodness.
Sorry, man.
John Stones is better.
Exactly. Like, bro, I can mention so many teams, bro. Even the guy from Tottenham, Van de Ven or whatever his
Oh,
name
he's
is.
really good. He's really good.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. Do you want me to name 10 better defenders in Bundesliga than Upamecano?
You've not named one. You've named one so far, or two at most.
Okay, I'm gonna name. So Sule is better than him.
Okay, I'm.
Um,
Okay, how do I
Ramos,
mute you? How do
Ramos,
I
No
mute?
shot.
How do I
Ramos is
mute
better.
you?
No, 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 no. Let me speak.
No
Let me cook.
shot.
Let me cook. Let me cook. Let me cook. Let me cook.
You're not cooking
Ramos is
anything.
better.
You burned the house down. The things that you
Sule,
think you're
Sule,
cooking are dead bodies.
Sule is better. No, no, listen, listen. Anton from Stuttgart is better than him.
Oh,
Um, like, Kusunu's better. Jonathan Tah is better. Bro, Tapsoba is better. Um, like there's so much center backs in Bundesliga that's better than this guy. Like, and that's just how sad it is. You see, you can
okay.
even put Maxime Lacroix from Wolfsburg. He's better than him.
I bet you've not watched a single Wolfsburg game.
That's the thing though. That's the thing. You guys, how you guys view it is, oh, he's so consistent. He's starting. He's playing. But I'm talking about defenders that they make sense in big games. In big games, I have more faith in Maxime Lacroix
He's
and
never played a
Anton
big game in his
than
life.
Upamecano.
Exactly. Like, what big game has he played? Upamecano's played in a World Cup. He's played in a Champions League multiple times.
He's played in the World Cup because of France didn't have any other center back.
He was
That's it.
their best player.
No,
Besides,
he wasn't. No,
yes,
he
he
wasn't.
was.
If you
Saliba was fit.
listen,
Konate was fit. Who else was fit?
I don't know who their squad was that it's, but they were all healthy enough in centre back.
listen, let me tell you something. Right? There's a difference between having a good performance in soccer and still losing. And that's what Upamecano is. He can have a good performance. This is Upamecano. He can have a good performance, but then he'll still lose. Against Man City, he had a good first half, but then guess what? He still lost. The mistakes overshadowed him. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay.
And I've not made a stream discussion in like months, and I already regret it. I already regret it. Oh my goodness.
That's a mistake. If they sign Moncano, that's the worst mistake they've ever made. PSG. I'm telling you. Even Hernandez, who we sold, I felt was so much better than this guy. How do
He
you
sucks
let?
too. Hernandez sucks.
No, bro. The thing you don't understand in big games, Hernandez saved Bayern
In big games, which big games has he played for Bayern? He was always injured.
Wait, Lucas
against
Hernandez?
PSG.
He
Against
played
PSG.
Villarreal. He played
Against
Villarreal.
PSG. Yes. He saved us in those games. You
We
guys
lost
are
to
We
Villarreal.
forgetting.
lost those
We lost to
games.
Villarreal.
You know why we lost those games? let me tell you why we lost those games, right? We lost those games because of one person. And guess who
Go
it is?
on then. Go on.
Guess
Who's
who
that
it is?
one person?
Guess
Lewandowski.
no, guess. I just
Lewandowski.
want you to
Lewandowski.
guess who it is.
Lewandowski.
No, it wasn't him.
Upamecano.
Guess who it is? Nope. Guess who it is?
Kimmich.
No. Another guess. Guys, I mean, he's the best player for Bayern right now, according to you guys. According to you guys, yeah. The best player in the world is the one who's actually getting us knocked out of the Champions League.
Kane wasn't at
Yeah.
Bayern.
Yeah. Against Villarreal, we lost because of him. Against PSG, we lost. Against Man City last season, major reason. He doesn't learn his lesson. He's another one of those players where he will never be in the top 10 best wingers in the world. I'm telling you. Sorry, guys.
So first you hate Upamecano, now you hate Sane. Is there anyone you like?
Not really, not in the team.
Of
Because
course
you
not.
can't trust anyone. Aside from Limer. I respect Limer so much because Limer, he runs, he gets his butt up and down. He does so much, for the team. And maybe Kim and Jay, but aside from that, the rest are just bums. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like Davis is another bum.
You called Muller and Neuer bums. That's crazy.
No, I like them. I like, actually, no, I don't like them because they've declined. It's time to move on. Like, let's move on, bro. Like, do you know, I'm going to tell you something. I actually think Paulo Dybala is better than Musiala and Thomas Muller in 2023. This is how sad it is. Because he can beat defenders. He's a very good playmaker. He can, bro, like he fits the attacking mid role.
I will be honest, I don't think you've watched much of Dybala at all.
When I'm picking a player, I'm trying to see how he fits Bayern. And right now, we don't have players who can beat defenders. We don't have players who are good playmakers. So
Coman's made
Dybala
a
is
whole
one.
career off beating his man and then doing fuck all after.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
but you can beat his
Dybala
man.
will give you the end product. Dybala will beat his man and give you the end product.
Yeah. He's also not a cam though. He's like a second striker.
Exactly. And I think we need this because then it would free Harry Kane. Because Harry Kane always has to drop deep, create from deep, and then, bring the wingers into the attack.
But that's part of his game though. That's what makes him so good.
No, that's not part of his game. That is the problem.
I mean, you can look at Human Son's numbers at Spurs. They were really good because Kane was providing for him. It wasn't just like the midfield. Kane was helping him as well.
No. I know Harry Kane. If you give Harry Kane Dybala, Harry Kane will have more freedom to score goals. I'm telling you, and focus on his actual job.
Yeah, but I don't think like we need to free Kane. I think he's doing fine for us right now in terms of goals and assists. I think it's like the midfield letting us down.
That's what I'm saying. So Dybala gives that creativity. Dybala gives that playmaking. Dybala gives that beating the defender to create space.
Yeah, but
That's
he's not
what
a
I'm trying to
midfielder.
tell you.
But he's not a midfielder
Huh?
though. He's not like
That's
a
what I'm saying.
midfielder.
We don't have to. We don't need that. We don't need that. Okay. I hear you. And I'll talk to you.
What was that?
So I'll say this. I think your high opinion of Dybala, I think you have that high opinion because you've not watched him in a long, long, long time. I think if you had watched him in a long time, I think your opinion would change very drastically.
Let me tell you something.
He's had a good season.
Dybala will get more goals than Sane and Musiala combined. Musiala is a winger, guys. I'm telling you this right now. He's much better as a winger. Dybala is an actual cam. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, I know he gets injured, but it is what it is. I mean, it's up to you. You're the ones who. So, I'm coming back.
I don't think he's an attacking midfielder though. Like Wirtz is an attacking midfielder. The ball is like a second striker.
At best,
Mm-hmm.
he's a bench player. At worst,
He's had a really good season though, Dybala. Like for
yeah,
Roma.
because he's got the best manager in world football coaching him. That's the only reason why.
I know what I see. So, I'll be back. Give me a sec.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness, that Upamecano slander is just. It's 2024 now, all right? I thought we left that behind in 2023. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
That was funny. The Lacroix played a big game part was funny. I enjoyed it.
Anyway. Now that he's gone, we can agree that Upamecano's top 10, right?
Top 10? I don't know where I would put him, to be honest.
Okay, top 5.
No. Kim and Jay is better.
Huh?
Van Dijk is better.
Huh?
Ruben Dias is better. John Stones is better.
Oh my goodness.
You don't think John Stones is better than Upamecano?
Oh my goodness.
No, John Stones is better. Like, come on.
Oh my goodness. You do not think that John Stones is better than Upamecano?
John
Then
Stones
Dier
is so good.
Upamecano.
John Stones is so good. Like, John Stones, you can make an argument he's in the top 5 best English defenders of all time.
No comment. No comment. Okay. I almost feel like I want to end the stream now because I feel like Upamecano gets too much hate. I think tomorrow I'm gonna have to make a video just on Upamecano alone. But knowing me, go on.
I don't hate Upa. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't hate him. I've criticized him, but I don't hate him.
And yet you say you don't trust him and you can't forgive him for what he did last year. But yet you said that if Kane did that same thing, you would trust him again
Because
following year.
because Kane is not replaceable. Upamecano is replaceable.
How is he replaceable if he's our best defender?
No. Min-jae is better. De Ligt is better. Because remember what you said, right? For fullbacks, you look towards defending first, right? In terms of pure defending, Kim Min-jae and De Ligt are better than Upamecano. We can agree on that, right?
No.
No. Come on.
No. No.
Min-jae is such a good defender, so is De Ligt. Like, I'm not saying Upamecano is a bad defender at all. He's obviously a good player. I'm not saying he's bad. But I think De Ligt and Min-jae are better defenders.
I'll give you Kim.
Okay, I'll take it.
Kim is the best defender in the world. Upa is second at worst. I'm saddened and disappointed.
The year of love is ruined by the Upamecano hate.
Uh, my day is ruined. Look, all I'm gonna say is I might have to make a McConnell video either this week or early next week, because the slander that I see against his name on here by both Daniel and Core is
I
too
did not
much.
slander him. I did not slander him. I said he's a good player.
Okay. Where would you rank him then?
Rank
Just
him
give me a ballpark. You're gonna say like top 20 or something.
late 10s to no. Okay, hold up. Anywhere from 7 to 15.
Slanderous.
No. Come on. No.
Slanderous! I tell ye. I tell all of ye.
If you ask
Hear
Corey, you
me,
put him
hear
bottom
me.
100. If you ask Corey, he's in 100 minute, like maximum 100.
I am not asking. God doesn't
Yeah.
want football. He does not want football.
I cannot be lumped in with Core on the Super McConnell conversation. Core would put him at 100. I'm saying 7 to 15.
Here he is again. Here he is again. I cannot. No. Oh, no. Just call. Just no. But I'll ask you the question regardless. If you are to put up Meccano on like a list, where would you list him in terms of centre backs? I said top 10, more like top 5. Daniel said 7 to 15. Where would you put him in terms of centre backs in the world?
100. Top 100.
Yeah, I told you.
I hate it here. I hate it here.
You.
I actually hate it here. I hate it here.
Why wasn't that unreasonable? You said like top 10. Mine was like partially in the top 10.
I said top 5.
Oh,
but I can push it. I can push it to top 10.
See, mine isn't that far.
I just have no comments anymore. I really don't. All right. In related news to Meccano, an alien was found in Miami.
What?
An alien was found in Miami in a Miami mall.
His name is Lionel Messi.
Nah, I'm pretty sure he is in Miami. Huh. Here's a question: would you sign Messi for Bayern?
No, that's done.
Yes.
I would absolutely. So. If we could get the GOAT, if we could get the GOAT at Bayern, I don't care who we have to sell. Get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
Which is funny because when Ronaldo was linked with Bayern, I said no. But if it's Messi, I'd say absolutely.
Ronaldo made sense though because we had no striker.
Our attack, there's no creativity, no finish. None of them are clinical finishers, and it's just really bad. It's just really bad. I think we need. That's what I'm saying. Dybala for me would solve a lot of those situations, basically.
In other unrelated news, well, welcome, Samasi. I was just about to bring up the Epstein client list, but welcome, Samasi.
Oh, I was looking at it just now too.
I came at the right moment. Let me listen. Eric Diabolical cannot enter my club. He cannot. I don't care what's happened. Any other center back is better than him. They had 4 months' time to prepare for this transfer window, and their solution is Eric Diabolical. Are you fucking kidding me? What are they fucking doing? I don't know what the board is doing. I don't know what Freud is in Freud watch, that fucking idiot. I don't know what Tuchel wants him. I'm so pissed. I'm confused. I can't do this anymore. With this club is so much wrong with this club right now. So much. I'm so pissed. I can't do this anymore. If I see him in the Bayern shirt, burn it to the ground. Somebody has to go down and burn it to the ground. I don't care if we get arrested. I know where Tuchel lives. I'm gonna egg his ass on. I know where he lives. I'm 2 hours away with the. Oh, sorry. 2 hours away to go to his house and egg him on. So I don't care. I'm gonna do it if this happens. How on earth, from all the center backs in the world who are available, you're gonna buy Eric Dier, who doesn't start at Tottenham every time that he's the center back for them? They lose? Are you fucking kidding me? This is so fucked up. And by the way, if they don't buy Palinia, I don't care. Buy another DM who's also good. It doesn't have to be Palinia. Okay, but if you don't buy DM, the only thing the player you buy is Eric Diabolical, you should be sacked. I don't care it's Freud or whoever comes with the idea should be sacked. That nobody says no to that idea is very boring. It's very boring.
Well, that's a very strong opinion. That's a very strong opinion.
That's not opinion, that's facts, okay? I've seen Dyer play. He is horrible. He's not on the professional level. Not even Bundesliga 2 or 3. He's like in the regional league. That's what he is.
He's an England international.
I don't give a fuck. He's not anymore. Since when was his last game for England where he started?
Well, he's also on the 5th best team in England.
On
He
the
doesn't
bench.
start. Does he start for Spurs? No, he doesn't. Because he's either injured or benched. So no, he doesn't start for Spurs. He shouldn't start for us. He shouldn't be an option for us. This is 5 million you could use on another player who's better. You tell me you have all the scouting apartment and I can't find a cheap center back? That's bad.
He's played 4 Premier League games this season. He's a Premier League footballer.
I
Top for
don't
Tottenham Hotspur.
I don't give a shit. Tuchel and his obsession with Premier League is fucking annoying me.
But Samasi, we could have the best midfield in the world with Goretzka, Leimer, and Dyer.
I saw I you know what, that picture, suicide. That's what all I'm thinking. If I see Goretzka Leimer, and who is it? Goretzka Leimer and Dyer as a midfield, all I'm thinking is suicide. That's all I'm thinking. Terrorism and suicide. Seriously,
Actually,
what's going on with our recruitment department? What the fuck is going on? They
we have.
cannot find a center back in the world.
I just think you're overreacting. Eric Dyer
I
has
am
played
not. I no,
364
no,
games.
no. This is
Hotspur.
Bayern Munich. No, I refuse. I refuse. The idea of Eric Dyer in a Bayern shirt I want to commit suicide over that, okay? That's how bad it is.
He's the English Beckenbauer.
No. First of all, have some shame to put Eric Dyer and Beckenbauer in the same sentence. Same sentence.
Look, all I'm gonna say is he's played 364 games for Tottenham, scored 13 times, and assisted 12
I don't give a
times.
shit about this. No, we are not Spurs. Are fucking losers. They've never won anything in their life. We are fucking Bayern Munich. That is not our level. I refuse to believe that a player who's absolutely shit will be in Bayern Munich shirt. This is Bunasa. This is Bunasa, and nobody can change my mind on that. I don't give a shit. He should never ever uh, be in a Bayern Munich shit or start or be in a bench or be an option for Bayern Munich.
I think you're just overreacting. We're talking about an England international. Harry Kane's best friend. Do you not want Harry Kane to have his best friend at Bayern?
I don't give a shit if he's Harry Kane's brother. No.
Even like all the YouTube channels have made like highlight videos of Eric Dier. So clearly there's enough video footage to make highlight videos. Clearly
No, highlights don't give you the picture. I've watched Spurs. I've watched Spurs with Eric Dier. He's horrible. He's the worst.
Yeah, I just think you're overreacting, if I'm being completely honest.
I'm not. You're gonna see. You're gonna see. If he screws us over in the game and we're gonna lose, you're gonna see. You're gonna remember what I told you. You're gonna see.
Well, here's a question for you, because we asked the same question to Core, and Core said that Dier is better. Who do you think is better, Upamecano or Dier?
Upamecano. Okay, Koa, you're fucking insane. Koa, what's wrong with you? Upamecano is a good center back. Has he some touch disposal moments? Yes. But he's still good.
Well, we also asked. Well, actually, no, we didn't ask Corders. Core brought this up himself. Who do you think is better, Dier or Kimmich?
You know what, Koa? You need to be locked up for your opinions on football. You need to be locked up for that. Kimmich is elite. Every Liverpool fan wants Kimmich. Every Man City fan knows Kimmich has its flaws. He's not perfect. He hasn't had this great season, but he's still good. And
Well,
be fantastic and some world class in some games. In some games he has a weird season. I can give you that, but he's very, very good.
I think, if I'm being completely honest, I think you're just not rating Dier high enough. That's what I think it is. The guy is a top 10 back in the world.
Are you for real? Is this? I'm getting franked. Are you on drugs? Are you? No, no. I can't. I don't have any words for that. What you did say. He isn't in top 50.
If you think about it, right? If once we get Dier, we win the Champions League and England wins the Euros, Dier could get Ballon d'Or.
Well, so I actually didn't hear that because he left. You had enough. Here, I wanted to ask him what he thought about where Upamecano would rank.
Yeah, I was curious too.
Oh well. Speaking of dire situations, have you all seen the Epstein list? The Epstein list. Stephen Hawkins.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Stephen Hawkins.
The memes on Twitter are wild.
Stephen friggin' Hawkins. Nah.
You know what's interesting? My aunt took a picture with him once, and I texted her right away saying he was on the Epstein list. I never got a text back.
Stephen Hawkins. Can you believe it? My role model, my hero, Stephen Hawkins. Who else on the list? Like, honestly, I've been trying to find a list, and all I've got is like the actual like document. I'm not gonna read that because I don't care nearly enough.
Yeah, what I do is I wait for other people to read it, and I see what.
Yeah, exactly. And then post it. I saw Oprah, but I don't care about Oprah.
Was that real?
Yeah.
Oh shit! All I saw was Bill Clinton, Stephen Hawking, some other guys.
Yeah, Oprah was there as well on the list. Samasi, welcome. What are your thoughts on Upamecano? Where do you rank him in terms of like world center backs?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Top 10, I would say eighth. I would eighth or seventh, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, it's almost as if mine wasn't outrageous after all. 7 to 15.
It was.
Oh, 15 is shame. Shame on you. But this
I
the
agree.
problem with Upamecano sometimes has his bozo days. Then he's absolutely taking up the place. And that's why he's judged by. But he's actually, when he's on, he's actually very good. That's most of his days. But sometimes, like in the Man City game, I can't believe he had an absolute disaster class. That's why people judge him in one game. I don't think that's a player should be judged in one game.
What do you think about Epstein?
It is the problem. It's a very serious situation, but it's funny at the same time. The memes on the internet are fucking hilarious. First of all, fuck all these politicians. Oh my god, Hassan Uday, who asked you, motherfucker? Who asked you? Who asked
Now,
you?
he was actually like the funny thing is, right? So Callum Hudson-Odoi was on a list that like that used to like spread around all the time, but people thought that was the Epstein list. What it actually was like the famous people that have gotten COVID, because he was one of the first people that got COVID, and so like his name was always associated with like the Epstein list. But the thing is that he was a kid himself while it was happening. So that's why you have to make a statement saying that he's
we all knew America is such a weird place. Two fucking American presidents were on the list. We all knew Trump was a fucking freak. And we
Prince
all
Andrew's
knew
on there.
Bill Clinton is a fucking freak also. We all knew that.
I mean, Obama too.
Obama is more like a neocon. He likes wars. He likes he's more neocon. Which is
We're gonna
also
get very
bad.
political right now because I love it.
By the way, Stephen motherfucking Hawking.
Oh, we talked about that, Stephen Hawking.
How did have you seen the Simpson clip?
Yeah.
Where he's getting away with Lisa Simpson. Oh my god, I couldn't keep it together. I laughed so hard. This was like, there's always a Simpsons clip, who predicts the
For
future.
everything. My God, Stephen Hawking, of all people, why? Why?
He liked his midgets doing math.
The ex Israel prime minister, which of course, that was like, and Prince Andrew. That have you read the thing with the puppet, Prince Andrew? He is such a creep. He needs get arrested and put in jail. Seriously. Have you read that with Prince Andrew and the puppet?
I mean, Prince Andrew, that was known, like, I mean, he even was on the news and whatnot.
We didn't know what he was doing with the fucking puppet, and apparently, Stephen Hawking likes to midgets. He likes midgets, which is what the fuck, eh? All these celebrities and rich people are all freaks. It's a cis. It's seriously crazy. I knew there's a lot of wrong especially in Hollywood and America. But that crazy.
I'm saddened. I'm saddened and I'm crying that my goat Stephen Hawkins. I used to read his theory of relativity all the time.
By the way, the Cat Williams interview was also fucking hilarious. I'm sorry. He roasted everyone. Have you seen it?
Nope.
You should watch it. He was roasting. he roasted um who's the comedian, the small comedian, I forgot his name. Kevin Hart. He came for Kevin Hart. He came for what's his the other comedians, what's his name?
I don't listen to
Stephen
comedians.
Harvey. He came for Stephen Harvey for stealing his jokes. He came for everyone.
Ooh, interesting news right now regarding Eric Dier. Very important that I share this, considering that he is going to be our savior.
Here we go. I might break my fucking laptop.
Well, you might want to hang on then. You might want to hang on then. Because you are about to get a...
Here we go.
Oh my god, no. No.
1 second.
For love of God. No. You actually shouldn't pray for something like a transfer not to happen, but I'm praying for it. Oh, look at Ange. He's actually quite doing a good job for what he has.
No, he's not.
He's a good coach.
He's not.
He's not gonna win anything. He's not elite. He's quite good. He's like the perfect manager
He's
for.
not. Please stop it. Please stop hyping up mediocre people.
He's, he's the perfect manager for Spurs. An okay coach for a mediocre club. Let's face it.
They are fifth.
Yeah, it's
With a lot of
Spurs.
injuries. With a lot of injuries.
They are still fifth.
They'll get top 4.
No, they won't.
You
I
don't know,
guarantee
but
It's
you
gonna
don't know
be
with Spurs.
City
They
win the
always
league.
bottle it.
City win the league, Liverpool second, Arsenal third, Spurs fourth.
I'm praying for Liverpool to win the league. I hate Man
Ashton
City
Villa
so
is
much.
second. You guys do realize that, right? Ashton Villa is second, and they're not gonna lose.
They'll buck it up at some point. Trust me.
They won't. Brighton have a better chance of being fifth than Tottenham, and Brighton are seventh.
But Spurs are 3 points behind Aston Villa, who are second. So I think Aston Villa will drop off.
Why am I always surrounded by people that don't realize that teams like Tottenham, teams like Dortmund, teams like Leverkusen, they're never gonna amount to anything. The second you have any expectations of them, in this case, you have expectations that they're going to be fifth, they will disappoint you. So they're going to be sixth or seventh.
Yeah, Spurs are total butlers. Every time there's pressure on, they bottle it. So don't believe anything. They're on Arsenal. They're both bottle jobs, let's face it.
I mean, Arsenal
the only 2 teams you can take from the Premier League seriously are Liverpool and Man City. That's it.
Obviously.
Is he?
Oh, I think his laptop crashed.
Oh, I don't think what he wanted to share. But Daniel, who do you want Bayern to buy for the winter transfer window?
I want Paulinho at DM, and then center back, right back type of thing. I would take Chris Richards. People will disagree, but I would take Chris Richards
Listen,
or the there's the Bisek, the German guy from Inter. He's a good center back too. So Bisek or Richards for center back, and then Paulinho at DM.
yeah, I would also say Palinha SDM, and then anybody but Eric fucking Dier. And decent. He just has to be decent and okay. He's just a backup, let's face it. If somebody get injured, that's all he should be. So we don't need to spend a lot of money on. And by the way, Tuchel, we don't need another center back. I don't know why he wants Araujo, which he has a disaster of a season. Have we seen it in the last few games? Absolute disaster after disaster game. So I don't want him at all.
You're a hater. You're
I'm
a
not a
hater.
hater.
You're a hater.
Tuchel is obsessed with the defense and center back. Like, look at your fucking attack. Look at your fucking midfield. We don't need another center back. And by the way, Janapri, please leave my club. Please. He needs to be sold this summer. He and Goretzka. Goretzka, I hate Goretzka and Kimmich. The pivot doesn't work at all. If I see that pivot, I know it's going to be a long season for Bayern. And by the way, 60 million, it's not the end of the world, Bayern Munich. 60 million.
F that. Don't get Paulinho. It's his fault.
But we scammed 40 million from Liverpool for Gravenberg, so we can afford it.
We are in 20 million plus. You know that. We are in 20 million plus. And these penny pinchers don't want to pay 60 million.
They're not penny pin. No, I won't allow you to slander them for this one. No, that's his fault. He should get extended. Fuck him.
Paulinho is a fucking idiot. But most players, you know, I'm gonna tell you something. Most players are idiots.
I'd much rather Bayern spend that 60 million on hookers and strippers rather than spend it on him.
Should he have done that? No, but most players are idiots.
Well, let him face the consequences. Get someone else. Get a Højbjerg in or some shit.
Højbjerg is dog shit.
No, he is dog shit.
He's still better than Paulinho.
No.
You know, sometimes
I've got to question I've got to question Paulinho's decision making, because if you make such a decision off the court, how can I trust your decision on the court? I can't.
Oh my god! Have you seen the post-match press interview? They asked Foster Koglu when Davis looks like he has done his hamstring. Can you afford to lose Eric Dier after this
I
injury?
literally had that posted like 2 minutes ago.
And Foster Koglu said, "This motherfucking Eric Dier is dog shit, people. Dog shit, I tell you that."
You need to respect Eric the Legend Dier.
His nickname is Diabolical. His nickname is Diabolical.
Eric, future Bayern player Dier.
I swear, my God, if I find out who came up with the idea with Eric Dier, he will be murdered on the street. He will be.
In Minecraft. I saved you.
Someone needs to find out who said Eric Dier's name, who came up with that idea.
Anyway, here's my question to you then. What are your thoughts on the season? I already asked Daniel, but what about you, Samasi? Just your thoughts on the season, general, overall, and so on and so forth, and the expectations for the upcoming half.
It is a so-so until now. I would say 6 out of 10, because we lose against Frankfurt 5-1. We lost against Saarbrücken, which is still humiliating. We lost against someone in the third league. and sometimes we don't play the prettiest of football. So it's 6 out of 10. I hope we improve.
Ah, 6 out of 10. You lot are too nice and too generous, and I can't. I can't with you lot. I can't.
What's your rating?
Also, I've just realized Eric Dier is 29 years old.
He's in his
He
prime.
doesn't look.
So I hope Bayern gives him a 6 or 7 year contract. Then Buena Sarr can have like someone that he can chat with.
Oh my god, I say you, he's a Bunasat 2.0. I tell you that for free.
Don't disrespect the GOAT, Buena Sarr, like that. Anyway,
What was your rating for the season?
5.
Yeah, it's a mid-season until now because Tuchel will die how the UCL and the Bundesliga goes. If we become second, he will be sacked. If we don't get at least a semi-final, he will be sacked.
So, in other sport news, Magnus Carlsen won the Blitz Chess Championship.
Okay, let's be careful about how we throw around the word sport and chess.
Oh no! It is sports.
No
Magnus
way.
Carlsen won
It's a board game. It's a board game.
It's sports.
It's kind of a sport.
Magnus Carlsen won the Blitz and the Speed Championship over Hikaru Nakamura, winning. I believe it was 12-11.
Congrats to him. He's
Congratulations to the GOAT, and
Yeah.
also congratulations to Magnus Carlsen for setting a new record in terms of the chess.com ELO rating with 3340. Beating out Hikaru Nakamura's record of 33-38. Congratulations to the GOAT.
You know that he said he prefers to play on a computer instead of the board.
Yeah, because it's probably easier to cheat on the computer.
Are you calling Magnus Carlsen a cheat? The GOAT, the legend that beat that beat Kasparov when he was 11 and became world champion then. Are you calling him a cheat? I need an answer.
No comment. I said what I said.
Hater. In other unrelated sporting news, the Warriors lost against the Nuggets. Daniel, any comment to that? And any comment on Nikola Jokic scoring from 39 yards out? 39 feet, rather, not yards.
I will quote Crispy Haynes' report from today. The Golden State Warriors are a team to watch for Pascal Siakam. When that happens, Jokic can kiss my ass, and Warriors are winning the NBA championship, NBA finals.
Well, you don't even believe that yourself. Like you don't even believe.
No, they don't.
No, watch. Siakam, Curry, Green, Pojimski, Kuminga's probably gone, which fucking sucks. But those 4 can win a championship. 5.
I'm clipping this.
Watch.
They can't, but whatever.
Poj, Siakam, Curry, Clay, Green. Those 5, it's over.
Thoughts on the GOAT, Wemby?
He's overrated.
Now I know for sure that you don't know basketball.
Bro, they're bottom of the league. They've done nothing. Trust
They're
me.
second. No, they're not bottom. They're second. So off the bottom. All right.
Now,
Don't disrespect
what's his point?
Don't disrespect the Pistons like that.
What's his points per game? Well, what is it? What is it?
By the way, can I say something?
Never mind. He's actually pretty good. 20 points per game. I'll give it to him.
Can I say something? The New York Knicks, sorry. Why don't you trade your picks for Donovan Mitchell? God damn it. Why? Why are they not doing this? I'm so have you seen the Stephen A. Smith clip? He's right. They don't want to have any expectation on the team.
Yeah, I'm
That's
sorry,
why
but
these
if
fucking
you listen
losers.
to Stephen A. Smith, then you don't. Then that's already a step too far. You can't listen to people that
No,
don't know basketball.
he's not always right,
He's
but
always
he's right on that one, on the ownership. Yeah, so I just want a star on my team. Okay, I just want one. Give me one.
You've got Randall,
Come on,
Julius,
bro. Come on,
Goat,
bro.
Randall. It's January. You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna a friend of mine told me this before the season started, and he's always been right with that. When the All-Star voting is there, trust me, now he's gonna start scoring like 30 a game, easy until
That's
he gets voted into the All-Star.
And plus, the Knicks have the best player in the league, Dante DiVincenzo.
Come on.
He has a ring.
We're gonna probably get out again for the second round, like always. It's just pathetic. By the way, who's your favorite to win it?
Obviously, the Nuggets. Obviously.
Yeah,
they've got the GOAT. The GOAT. It is Nikola Jokic. The GOAT.
Have you seen what he did in the last game? Unbelievable.
Yes,
Pure
Daniel.
Luck.
Yes, Daniel. Did you see what he did in the last
100 again.
He literally did it like 5 times versus the Lakers. He did it versus the Toronto Raptors. He did it versus Orlando Magic. He did it with everybody. He's the GOAT.
Get Siakam on the Warriors. Run that shit back and the Warriors win.
I don't think so.
If you run it back, they'll choke a second time.
No. I can't believe that fucking shot. Jesus Christ.
It's beyond ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous.
He's my GOAT for a reason.
Do you think any other team has a chance? Or they're gonna get overrun?
The Clippers. Kawhi is real. He's real.
No. Clippers
that boy is real as long as he stays healthy, but he's injury prone, but he's been healthy half a season, so he's real.
Clippers will fuck it up. They're the Spurs of basketball.
That's true.
Celtics win it. Celtics can win it.
Celtics ain't winning shit.
Bro,
right?
It could be.
Celtic have one good player in Porzingis.
Yeah.
Don't give me Tatum. Don't give me Brown. Don't give me friggin' Drew Holiday.
You know.
One thing too. Damian Lillard is a fucking fraud. He's shit. I said it.
Obviously.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be the Nuggets. If the Nuggets get unlucky, it's gonna be Boston or the Bucks.
How would that be unlucky? Boston literally can't beat the Nuggets. Like, who have they got that can defend Jokic?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you get I say it's 90%, 99%. That's the 1% where they don't win it when they get unlucky. Sometimes you have an unlucky day.
That could actually match up against the Nuggets.
The Warriors.
No, they don't.
Funny. No, it's really just. Funnily enough, the 76ers. But they're not going to make it out the second round.
Yeah, Miles Turner is so good.
You think so?
Yeah, I would take him at the Warriors.
The Warriors are not doing all.
No, watch. One trade and it's done. You guys will all shit yourselves again, like how you guys did.
They're not doing anything.
Watch one trade, and then everyone will say, "Oh, the Warriors cheat." Blah blah blah. They need to rein them in.
Steph is washed.
No.
You saw that turnover. Believe it, he's washed.
Curry's the GOAT.
You've got Klay Thompson,
Come on,
who's
bro.
washed. Klay even came out and said, "I'm washed, bro." Steve Kerr talked to me. He told me I'm washed. I need to accept it. I was like, "Yeah, shit, I'm actually washed, aren't I?"
Come on. Have you seen what Plettenberg tweeted for 3 minutes? These motherfuckers want to. I'm so pissed. They want to pay 70 millions now for Bravo. Doing 70 million. 70 million. He has been dog shit all season. He is not worth 70
Understand,
million.
there is no release clause in a range of 80 to 100 million. There is one release clause officially communicated by FC Barcelona during his contract extension. Bayern is said to be ready to pay more than 70 million for him now. Been told even 80 million wouldn't be sufficient in this transfer window. Tuchel and Freund are determined to secure him. Internally, his potential transfer for the defensive aspect is being compared to Kane's for the offensive side.
We are refusing to spend money in Palhinha to buy a fourth centre back.
But Alina, his fault.
No, I don't care about the money. I care about the money we have spent on a fourth centre back. We don't need a fourth centre back who could be a starter. We need just a squad player. What's wrong with Bayern Munich? We have Kim, we have De Ligt, we have Upamecano, who are 3 great centre backs. So we don't need this fourth one. We don't need it. Tuchel, your obsession with centre backs
He wants
is
to play a back
beyond
three.
stupid.
It's pretty clear that he wants to play a back three
Yeah.
Why?
because it's his formation. He's the coach. He's the manager.
Or Araujo plays right back in the back 4, but I think it's a back 3.
I'm beyond annoyed. This fucking
All
club.
I'm gonna say is this, all right. 80 million for Lucas Hernandez, 80 million for De Ligt, and now 70 plus million for Araujo.
We are centre back
And
FC.
I still can't trust
Yes.
our defense.
Yeah, centre back FC, man. I can't believe we're gonna spend another 70 million on a fucking centre. This is
Accept it.
our midfield is bleeding. Is bleeding. We haven't replaced Thiago in four.
Is
Is it 3 or 4
Thiago
seasons?
wasn't important to Bayern.
What?
He was injured more than he was healthy.
He was a really good player, though.
Yeah, okay. Robin was also a really good player, but at least Robin was healthy when it mattered. Thiago was never healthy.
Listen, Thiago. If he was more healthy in Bayern than he is with Liverpool because they never gave him a chance to really recover. That's the biggest problem with Liverpool. I think.
Here's who Bayern should sign, and I'm going to be 100% honest. Pretty close.
You're cooking. I
No.
like that.
I know. But Uli Hoeneß has beef with Toni Kroos. That's the problem.
Tony
We
Kroos
should
will never
not-
join us again.
Actually, you know what? There is one player that we really need to sign. I can't believe I haven't mentioned him yet. He would actually solve all of our problems, you know. That player's name is Josip Stanisic.
That was the dumbest fucking idea to loan him ever.
Let's strengthen Leverkusen. Our
Yeah.
potential rivals who also are losing a player for the African Cup of Nations.
Whoever's idea that was, I'm not even joking. They need to get sacked.
They probably already got sacked.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Bayern have signed Luka Doncic. Here's the question. What about Bruno Guimaraes?
You know, Stanic is actually playing good for them.
He's
That's
barely
every
played.
time.
He's barely played though.
Yeah, but when he starts, he plays good. And he is what we needed, a squad player who can play center back, right back, and deep. I don't, whoever the Schindlers was, fuck you. Can you hear me? Fuck you for that. Seriously, screwed us over. Like, we could have kept in mind, I think if we haven't loaned him out, we would have gotten Panini also in the summer. And I think we would have a better season because we are bleeding goals because our midfield is too open, and that's why we need the DM by a minute. That's sometimes do I think what are our board our recruitment doing? Are they not watching any games? Are they not watching uh, any other teams and players? And the last player we bought from South America
Reno?
is no Costa,
He wasn't from South America. We bought him from Ukraine.
South American player.
That's debatable.
And if you look at Argentina, they have so many good young players who are coming up. Have you
Really?
seen the? Have you seen the 70-year-old Man City have bought? He's a very talented player. Why are we not doing that, Bayern Munich? Why are we not doing that?
Doing
We
what?
are not. We are buying ours just from Europe. Go to South America. There are young, talented players, and just buy them, and then give them chance in the academy, so we don't have to pay much when they are older, like we did with Davis.
Easier said than done. All of it easier said than done.
My God. And by the way, have you seen that goal from Yildiz? The player Brazil, you have blood in your hands.
That's
First of
easy.
all,
That's easy to say, but none of us even knew him, or none of us
no,
talked about him
I
enough.
said we
Back
shouldn't
then.
sell him. He said, I said it. We shouldn't sell him. He's a talent. He could be better. And he's a forward. And we needed a striker. But what
Look,
Brazil sold him. And then he was good. And I was saying for Germany, we need to contact him, please, somebody, anybody. And DFB did nothing. And now he's playing for Turkey. And we, as Germany, have no striker beyond Fulkrug. Incompetence. Incompetence. I'm so frustrated. We made him the player he is, and we have gotten nothing out of it. Nothing.
all I'm gonna say is, just imagine in 3 weeks' time, our midfield: Goretzka, Dier, Lima. Yeek!
Oh, oh my God. Nightmares. Nightmares. I have. I swear my life. If I see that midfield playing any minutes for Bayern, I'm gonna. I might need to stop watching football for a month. Because how a club from who's as big as Bayern Munich has a midfield from diabolical, Goretzka, the gymnast, and who's the other one who you said, and Lima, the terrorist. I don't know. I do, by the way, do you think anything is true about these Kimmich rumors? Daniel,
What was that?
do you think there's anything true about the Kimmich rumors?
Oh, I think it's 50-50 on if he leaves or not. I think that
I think they're bullshitting.
I could
I
see
think
him leave, but I don't know.
no, I think it's more that his family and his wife don't want to. It's a Thomas Miller situation more than it's a Kimmich.
Well, the last player to leave because of their wife got completely fucked over, Lewandowski. But
Yeah,
so
I think
hopefully
Kimmich's wife doesn't want to leave. She doesn't. She and their children doesn't. And I think Kimmich wants more money, seriously. And I think Man City want him because they tried to replace Gundogan, but it really didn't work. So they want to Kimmich to play that role for them. Only he probably could, but I don't think that's his wife and family, and so don't want him to play uh, outside of Germany, especially his wife. So it's more in our favor than not. By the way, Lewandowski stop with the TikTok videos and the dance videos. It's very beyond embarrassing. And I think your wife is cheating on you, by the way.
Why would
yeah,
you
with
say
the dancer.
that?
I swear his wife is cheating on him with his dancer.
Yeah.
Y'all are insecure. I'll say that much. Truly, truly insecure. Here's a player that we should sign, or that we should have signed. Sergio Ramos.
You know, it's not a bad idea. It's that not a bad idea. We should have just signed him for this season. That's it.
Or another player that we should sign, Walker Zimmerman.
No.
I don't
No.
know.
No.
Yes, yes,
No.
yes.
Why do you like Zimmerman?
What do you mean? Why do I like Zimmerman? He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT MLS defender.
No.
How about Sean Davis then?
Hey,
Who
I
fuck is that?
I haven't watched one MLS game ever.
That's on you.
I
That's on
live in
you.
I live in the
Messi,
I live in the US.
Messi,
I've only
Messi
seen
plays
one
there,
MLS.
and I haven't watched one game because it's I don't rate the MLS in this.
Anyway, I'm going to bed.
Mhm.
Good night.
Yeah.
I'll just
Good night.
I'll just leave the stream on, and you guys can keep talking.
I'm probably gonna head out.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out, buddy. Good talking to you guys.
I
Yeah.
already
Bye.
fell asleep like 4 times during the stream.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this, peace out. Have a good one. See ya. Bye. I know that's a great way to end the stream, but see ya and bye. Like the stream. Peace.